still be a really good camera.
Yeah.
You know, so you really gotta weigh the other capabilities of the camera.
Absolutely, yeah. Most people do think it's just megapixels. They're like, 50 megapixels, it's the best
It's
camera.
the easiest thing to reference,
right.
you know.
But it's definitely not the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. It's like trying to use like VRAM as like your main benchmark on graphics cards, which
or just gigahertz or anything.
Yeah.
CPU.
Actually, yeah, gigahertz is probably a better one.
I have more cluster flomes or whatever the heck they're called. Picocores. CUDA-cores. That's it.
CUDA-cores.
I have more CUDA-cores than you. I'm better.
My flux capacitor can go to...
Yeah.
Man,
Well, you want to intro us then, Colton?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I really need to intro us. All right, I got to get ready for the intro again. All right. But I got to do a special intro because it's the gamers intro. Okay. Welcome to Almost a Podcast. Gamers and casual gamers. I'm here as Colton, the host today for a very special podcast with Mike and Sean, my co-hosts.
What's up?
How you doing, guys?
Not bad.
It's going.
Today's a really special episode today. I just said today like 3 times, but
Why is that?
it's because it's the gamer episode. It's where we all talk about our favorite games. And I am a gamer. I consider myself a connoisseur of games. Even though I don't play all the games, I feel I am a tasteful gamer still of the video games. So yeah, today
I feel like...
Oh, go ahead, Sean, before I keep going.
Oh, I'm just going to interrupt your intro. I'm not as much of a gamer anymore, I got to say.
Yeah, I've fallen out of it as life hits us. Everyone feels, but that's why a lot of my games are probably older. They're not like, I don't have a lot of recent games that I can reference, I feel.
Well, I feel like I've been gaming more with you guys in the last year than I have
solo
in a couple years before that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
As a kid, I gamed all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Same. It's sad because like I really want to game more, but honestly, there's just so many other things. When I'm a kid, I didn't have anything to do when I got home from school, and I really liked games. So I just, that was my main thing, especially when sports weren't a thing in the winter where I grew up. I played a lot of games. So, yeah. But
and like looking back in like high school or middle school where it's like, well, you're not doing any after school activities or anything like that. It's just, all right, let's play some games, and you're playing games until dinner time or whatever.
The games were how I like escaped, like how I like relaxed. They're a big relaxing thing for me during just school. And
I think it was just entertainment for me.
Yeah.
I
much rather would play games over watch a TV show or a movie. That's how I've always been. I've liked having that over watching TV personally a lot more.
I mean, I don't have a TV still in my apartment.
Oh, really?
That's crazy to me. See, I love movies and TV less so, but like there's some shows I really love. So that's to me like that was still a giant form of entertainment as a kid. Mm-hmm. But I also did gaming. Like I wouldn't if 10-year-old me was faced with the task, choose one or the other, I would be at a loss.
Really? Oh, it's the equal. For me, it's easy. Gaming. I'm a true gamer. Gaming over everything else.
I'm with you though, Sean. At the same period of time, I watched a lot of movies. I remember my dad had gotten like this is like, back in like early 2000s when they had like they're just getting out with like the big TVs. He got a really big like projector type TV, like the one that like projects from like the bottom.
Yeah, those are good.
And it was like a 65-inch TV, and at the time that was ridiculous, right? And I remember just like going down there, and we had gotten set up with a surround sound system and everything like that, built, set up, built in like the media room. And I just remember just like closing that door, and it'd be completely dark in there.
Yeah,
total blackout.
This brings up a good point. What was your guys' gaming room like?
My gaming room,
if you had one.
My gaming room was the same as what you were talking about, Mike. So my dad bought the projector TV, got the surround sound set up, except I also had the game console on that thing.
Same,
so
yeah.
I had it in the attic.
Question is, what gaming console though? What gaming console?
Oh, I was PlayStation all the way.
Wait.
PlayStation, hey.
PlayStation for
good
life.
Old PS2.
PS2,
I think
PS3.
it'd be good to do our histories, our gaming history.
Sure. We can do our gaming histories. Sean, you wanna go first? Just take us through your history.
Well, back when I was a wee lad, I started on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Yeah, with the gray rectangle with like the red buttons,
and you didn't even
and the gray screen, or just the black screen essentially.
You didn't start with like a console or anything?
Nope. No, it was just that Nintendo thing. Pretty sure.
Okay.
And that was what I started with. And then it was a Game Boy Color after that. And I started playing like Pokemon on that.
Very classic intro to gaming.
And then after that, I think it was a pretty quick I wouldn't say pretty quick departure from the handhelds. Because around the same time I got a PlayStation, original PlayStation.
Oh, yep. PS1.
And I remember playing Frogger on that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I remember playing like Spyro, like some of these original games.
Yeah.
And then Rayman, if you ever heard of Rayman.
Yep. I'm familiar.
I don't think so, no.
And then what's the Crash Bandicoot?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Little
Played that.
dog dude. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a ton of fun. And then I think around the same time I got a DS. Nintendo DS.
Okay.
And I was still playing Pokemon on that and like a couple other games.
You never got the Game Boy Advanced?
Which one was that again?
It's the first flip up one. The first flip.
Wasn't that the color?
No, that was the Game Boy Advance SP. It was the first flip.
Okay, I had one of those, I think.
Okay.
And then I went to the DS.
Okay, gotcha.
And then the DS was the last handheld. Well, okay. And then I also had a PSP.
Yeah.
A PlayStation Portable. I only had like 3 games on that, and then that was the last handheld I ever had. So then it went. I think at the same time I got a DS, I also started playing on the Xbox. And then we just kind of stuck with Xbox the rest. Then I got an Xbox 360. I basically had every Xbox console series.
Yep.
And I remember because in my house. In the side rooms, there's my the master bedroom, and there's these 2 other bedrooms. And originally, when I was a kid, me and my brother were in the same room, and the other room was our gaming room, and we had one of those like big 50-screen. Our uncle gave it to us, I think.
Yeah.
50-inch screens, and that would be just where we were there, and that was our computer was in there.
Yeah.
So we'd play like some computer games, not very many, but. That and Xbox. So I think that is kind of the history of how I started playing games.
So you started with Pokemon, which is an RPG, and you kind of transitioned away from RPGs, I think, knowing your tastes now. Do you still play? Do you ever want to go back and play Pokemon again, or if you just that was a kid's game?
No, not at all. I just don't have the time for the game like that.
Yeah.
Anymore, and or the patience.
Yeah.
Like the biggest problem with Pokemon is you needed to just keep clicking buttons, and I don't like that type of repetitive game anymore.
Yeah.
Although I shouldn't say that, because you could construe that a lot of games I play are repetitive. So it's just not the type of gameplay that appeals to me anymore.
Sure.
But I do have fond memories of playing it.
Yeah. Sure. What about you, Mike? What's your gaming history?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but first started out with PS2. I never had a portable ever.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah,
really?
That's actually, you might be the odd one out as far as most kids had a portable.
That's weird.
Interesting.
I think every kid had like a DS or something.
Yeah.
No, so
do you know why that was?
Yeah, I think it was because my cousin, he was really big into PS2 games. We'd always play when I was over at his place, and so my stepmom decided, all right, one Christmas, you and your dad can get a PS2, right? And I just stuck with it. Yeah, for me, it was starting out with Lego Star Wars and Midnight Club WWF Remix off on PS2 and playing that game, and that would be like the whole thing. I'd just it wasn't something I do a lot. my parents would keep me managed on it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, all right, hey, play on occasion. We usually my dad and I playing together on Lego Star Wars or
that's cool.
And solo on Dub Edition, just driving around like driving game. It was just really chill and relaxing. Except when it wasn't, and I was just smashing things. It was actually really cool because one of the maps in Dub Edition is Tokyo, and so you drive around there and like, wait, I recognize some of this, right? Some of these are like locations. Obviously, it's not a 1-to-1, but it's kind of cool just like seeing that kind of the same atmosphere.
Yeah, you can see the influence
doing that, and then after PS2, switched to Wii because that's the only thing I had.
Oh, I also had a Wii.
Yeah. And I played some fun games on that.
I
is not only a casual gamer console. It had some great games.
It is. It's a casual game.
No,
it's pretty casual.
You'll see that it wasn't casual.
Yeah,
Wii Sports was my life. I'm just kidding.
Okay, that is like the definition of casual game, though.
Wii Sports can be super competitive. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
You can
is there
speak
even an
on
online
game.
mode for Wii
The
Sports?
what?
But we're sidetracking. But yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I play like Wii a lot after school. Basically, get home, you walk home in middle school, and then hop turn on the Wii until dinner time. So like from like 3 to 6.
Yep.
And then everything changed though when I eventually built my first PC, and then I became a PC gamer only.
When was that? When did you build your first
I think it was
PC?
2012. I think first time.
I know I built mine
pretty
in
good, yeah.
2010, I believe.
Yeah.
You guys were like middle school,
wanna
high school
say.
then.
Yeah,
2012
I think that was a year before high school or a year after I started high school.
Okay.
Something like that. But I but at that time I built a Hackintosh, so
Yeah.
I
Hackintosh.
never was a PC gamer.
That's pretty impressive for your first PC build.
Yeah, we're like 8th
It took
grade.
me like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine took like an afternoon, and I just loaded up Windows 7 Ultimate on it. Oh, I miss Windows 7 still. And
I time-lapsed me building my first computer.
seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I gotta see that sometime.
Yeah. It's just a simple thing, but it was pretty cool to see.
Nice.
What about you, Colton?
Are you done, Mike? Is that your full story, you think?
Yeah, I switched to PC gaming and
then
have
it's
not
been-
moved since.
Sweet.
The rest was history.
Well, I started at I think the oldest console, maybe bar the Game Boy. Maybe the Game Boy came out before this. But my first console that I played on was the Super NES.
wow.
So my brother, I had an older brother, or I have an older brother and older sister that lived with me when I was really, really young. And that's what they played. So that's how I got introduced to it. My brother played Legend of Zelda a lot. So I watched him play that. And then I also played Mega Man, like the old Mega Man X, which was an old game. That was a good
Side-scroller?
a goodie. And then from there, I got transitioned to PS2, got a DS around the same time. Loved the PS2, played that a lot. And then from there, I basically got the Wii because that was all I could afford. As time went on, I wanted a new console because PS3, Xbox.
Because it's a casual gaming console.
Well, it was the cheapest one, guys. Come on. I wanted to be a true gamer, but I couldn't. So I had to settle for Wii Sports and Mario Galaxy and whatever. But
sorry. Go ahead.
so yeah, I got that. Eventually saved up more money after I got tired of the Wii to buy a PS3. And then after that, PS4. And eventually bought a Razer laptop to get myself into the PC gaming world.
Yeah, I remember that. Was it freshman year of college you bought that thing?
It was sophomore year. So I saw Billy,
Sophomore,
one of our first friends at college, who was Rip Billy. He's not actually dead, but he left college very early. Billy was his name, right? Bobby? Maybe it was Bobby. Bobby. Okay. Sorry, Bobby.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, it was cool. I wanted to get a really nice laptop because I was using a really shitty laptop freshman year of college. Got that, got into PC gaming. Now I have a fully fledged 3080 PC gaming setup that I bought because I can't get a graphics card on my own. And now
They're
I'm
actually
like,
coming down right now.
Oh, good.
are they? That's great. That's great.
The 3070 Ti's are less than 1,000, which is
That's good.
yeah.
I want that 6900 XT. Let's go.
As long as it's coming down, that's the important part. But yeah, so I I stopped playing a lot of console stuff after I got my hands on the PC market because my Razer was able to beat out my PS4 in a lot of cases with the gaming experience. And yeah, I liked PC game. Like Steam is so much more accessible to me now, and they have way better sales. So I basically stay with PC.
I'm probably the last one that started PC gaming.
No, you're the first.
I'm the last one.
No, I'm the last one.
That you haven't you been PC gaming since like were you the first one?
Okay, well,
because I didn't get a PC until sophomore year of college or get into
okay,
that.
so you were running a Hacktash though,
Really?
so you're right. That doesn't count.
Right? Yeah, PC. My first PC.
If you don't think you can game on a Mac, then it doesn't count.
You can't.
I played Eve on
How?
Mac. It's Mac compatible.
It is?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, from the very beginning. And I also played several online games on the Mac.
Oh, like
Candy Crush.
mini clip games.
No, there were several you could play at the time. Like not Flash games. Although
Right.
if Flash games count, then
yeah,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Flash
Like I
games
remember
are
playing
great.
Motherload all the time.
Mm.
Like the one where you have to dig down and to the center of the earth.
I did. Yeah.
It was a mini clip game.
Okay.
But like RuneScape, for example, or other browser games like that,
Mm-hmm.
I was playing those on the Mac. So if that counts as PC gaming, then yes. But I don't really consider myself because it wasn't my primary source of game. That's how I'm judging it.
Yeah,
by,
sure.
Is if it's my primary source of gaming.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until probably like after college.
Seriously.
What? Really?
Yeah. Even though I have, an Xbox Series X, it's not my primary source of gaming at all. I would still say like our weekly game things is my primary source of gaming.
Gotcha.
And that's on the PC.
Do you even play games outside of us just like hanging out?
Not
couple times a
usually.
week?
Fake
Not
gamer.
usually.
I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not really like a gamer anymore.
Yeah.
It's cool doing because we had made 3x3s for this, and doing that was really cool because I got to like revisit a lot of old memories that I had not thought about in a while. Like one that just came up is I also played Mario, like Mario the original Mario, and going through all those a lot on the DS and the Game Boy.
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I've just forgotten about that.
Yeah, you get to like take a
Until
trip
we
down
started
memory
talking about
lane. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool.
See,
So I got some really old games from my Xbox days on my 3x3.
Sick.
I bet.
All right. Well, okay.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go through how we're gonna do this with our audience. So we're just gonna, as you said, Sean, we all made a 3x3. Just gonna talk about our favorite games, why we like them, inquire on them. I don't think we'll have any like weird choices. I know I have choices on mine that you guys don't know about. I'm pretty sure.
I won't
yeah.
know a lot of both of your choices.
I think I'll.
And I don't know. You'll probably know most of mine,
Yeah.
but there's definitely one you will have never expected.
Okay. Gotcha.
And there's
yeah,
a couple I know from Colton as well. There's a couple I'm like, I know this one's going to be on there.
I'm sure.
Because I know Colton plays JRPGs sometimes, so I bet those are going to be on there. And you guys were PlayStation gamers.
We were PlayStation gamers.
And I very early left the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't have hardly. I have no PlayStation games on my list. So our list is gonna be very different.
I think
from
so.
that, just
I
that
think we're gonna have a
respect, I
pretty
think.
diverse set. But
All right. So
I have to see who goes first. I have a wheel of names, like a randomizer, to see
Okay.
who goes first.
Interesting.
I'll share my entire screen right now to show you guys,
Careful not to show your.
which is this. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yes.
I can see
It's
it.
just a wheel.
I see wheels.
So I'll spin this wheel to see who goes first, and then we'll just kind of do it like we did our anime 3x3. It'll be really similar. So,
Yep.
Sounds good.
are you guys ready?
So what we got to do is guess. So whoever goes first, we got to guess them.
Yes.
And then-
don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Yeah.
I actually shared my screen.
All right.
My
All right. Spin the wheel and let's see what happens.
All right, yeah. I do want to guess, like you said, Mike.
Yep.
That stuff. All right. Spinning the wheel. Who's gonna be?
This is exciting. This is way better than before.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna get
And
Sean. Oh, we got Mike.
Hey, it's
Oh,
me.
it's Michael.
Look at that.
Wow, I thought it would just like lock onto it, but it actually is like a granular.
Yeah, a little gradual slow down. Yeah.
All right, so now we got to guess Michael's 3x3.
So, okay. I really do think that we're going to see Skyrim on this list.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
that's
sure
a
we
good
got
guess.
Skyrim
That's a really
locked
good
in.
guess.
I also think we're going to see a Fallout game on this list.
That's also a really good guess.
Okay. Any others?
Monster Hunter, I think, should be on this list. Monster Hunter World, I guess, specifically is what I would guess, but I'm not sure.
See, here's the hard part is because Michael hides the hours he's played on Steam.
Oh, so we can't tell like what he's.
So I can't.
Do you have Steam up right now? You're like, I wonder what's his most played
Unsurprisingly,
games.
I just mostly just checked my Steam library. I'm like, okay, which games have I played the most? And like, these are kind of my favorites. There's some that may be surprising because I have very few hours in them, but they're still like really high up there. But
I mean, it's also tough with Michael because Michael really gets into something, but that may not mean it's one of his favorite things.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
So like he's played a lot of Deep Rock Galactic, but I don't know if that would be on his 3x3 at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it hard to guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Is there an online game? Oh, Destiny. Destiny might be on there.
Ooh,
If he's still you're still playing Destiny. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, I am.
So we got Fallout.
What about some older games? Are there any older? What are some good like classic PlayStation
games that Mike would have played? I don't know what you played though back in the day, Mike. I don't. If you told us, I don't remember at least. Like I'm not sure. Like Battlefront 2 is would be a lot of people's favorites as far as a shooter, but I don't know if that is on there. If that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
I think we definitely have a good couple.
I think we have a good couple guesses.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right, I'm ready. Dun 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 dun. Dun.
Oh, let's watch the screen.
Watching the stream.
Okay. This is making sense.
So yeah,
wow. Okay.
From top to bottom, I've got Minecraft, Monster Hunter Tri, Skyrim, Destiny 2, Satisfactory, Lego Star Wars, OG,
yeah.
PlanetSide 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and Fallout New Vegas.
Nice. Dang.
I didn't know you.
I didn't know you liked Satisfactory that much. I knew you played it a lot.
What is that game?
It's like it's a
3D Factorio is basically. So we can start from top.
Well, to someone who doesn't know what either of those are, how would you describe this game?
It's a logistics game. It's all about moving resources, producing things, turning those things into other things, and making even more things. And it's just
it's a job.
It's a job. And it's a lot of math.
Simulator.
And it's absolutely enthralling.
Wow.
That's one of those games where you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm gonna play for 2 hours, and you end up playing for 10.
For 10. What?
I understand this game. I don't play Satisfactory. I play Factorio, but it's the same. You would like it for the same reason, you know.
What's like? So what is the draw then? It's sorry, I don't mean to. If you want to take it to another direction,
well,
go ahead.
Let's start off from the top then. So yeah, Minecraft. Yeah. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Minecraft,
it's one of the biggest games in the world. I think.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know you played it that much though. Honestly, maybe you did.
I didn't play it too much, but I think it's so like crucial to like my gaming development is because I really like that creative, and like that was a huge creative outlet for me, especially actually back in high school, is like, you know, building things. I really liked the creative aspect of Minecraft. I played it with friends too, high school friends, and I even still play it occasionally throughout. Like it'll be 6 months in, it's like, oh hey, someone wants to spool up a Minecraft server and like play, and we'll do that, you know, play for a month or so, and then it'll just like die off.
Yeah, okay.
As you do.
Yeah, and I mean, it still goes on.
I have a Minecraft server. I mean, like
exactly right. Yeah, and it's like, all right, you just want to like play some Minecraft, just fuck around with it, right? And so I did that a lot, especially back in high school. Like I didn't start OG. I think it was 1.2 I started in. So I'm not an OG Minecrafter, but I started like fairly early. You know, what, a year after it released, and yeah, you know, I still sometimes pop on there and like, oh, I'm gonna play the latest version, just check it out, see what's new, right? But I just love the building aspect, the just free building. Like I'd play probably half and half survival and creative, where I just want to.
It's a pretty pure sandbox game, you know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yep, it is.
Not many games are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I love about Minecraft too is just, all right, I want to it's one of those games that is the opposite. It's like, all right, I want to pop on for 30 minutes and like just build something. Or if like I'm in this building fix and I like need to like create something, it's just a pretty great outlet for that.
Yeah. Are they still updating the game? Like, is it a lot different now than it was a year ago even? You think?
I would say a lot different, but it's
a lot different than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like slowing down in progress, but like they're still adding things.
I wonder if they'll make like a second one. Like, is Minecraft 2 gonna come, you think?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Nah,
like,
it's so flexible
it would have
too.
to be drastic. Well, they had Minecraft Legends or something for a bit.
Oh, they did. Yeah, like the story-based
Minecraft
game.
Story Mode, I think, was another thing that came out, but I don't know.
But I don't think it's like the difference between Destiny and Destiny 2. You know, you can't make a new Minecraft 2.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
You would have to completely change the core mechanics, and that's what make it Minecraft playable. You know,
I'm actually going to swap out, try, and we'll talk about Star Wars first because that's kind of.
Is this a mid 3x3 swap?
Wow, he's taking us in the whole.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm just swapping two of them around. I want to talk about Lego Star Wars first because that's more core fundamental.
Okay, I thought you were swapping a game.
Oh God, no. I mean, there's definitely some honorable mentions. I may talk about a little bit later. Yeah. But for me, Lego Star Wars is just obviously I talked about it a little bit earlier. It's so foundational.
Oh yeah,
and just the gameplay is so good.
It's
like,
such a
I'll
good.
Still sometimes pick up the.
It's funny. It's like a funny game.
It is, and I'll still pick up the Lego games if they're on sale. It's like it's a part of a Humble Bundle. And it's like, yeah, $5, sure, why not? And I'll play a bit of it too, right? Like I've got the Lord of the Rings one. I'd gotten the Complete Saga edition, but like for me, the memory that really sticks in my head is the original Lego Star Wars, which is only like 1 through 3, I think. Like the prequels only.
Yeah,
but just playing with my dad, playing Lego Indiana Jones. I think Lego Batman 2 was a thing on PS2, and just all those games, just playing those with my dad, and us trying to do it. He's not like obviously he's not less intuitive about it, so it's like we're just like trying to figure these puzzles out and stuff like that, and it brings back a lot of kind of like nostalgic memories for me.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Just think about that game. Also, just like playing around with the character creator, I always love that bit too.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I always talk about how like the game that a lot of people could enjoy, because when me and Carly pick games, it's sometimes tough because she doesn't like to play, certain things. But Lego Star Wars is one of those games that we should try because it's so simple and fun, just at a core level.
And you can drop in and out very easily.
Yeah,
you just pick up a controller and join the existing mission.
Yeah, they're really well made too. It's like you could make a Lego Star Wars game, and that I could just envision a really poorly made Lego Star Wars game, but they like don't do that. They make a good one for all the series, or have a really good effort for most of the series games that they make. So absolutely. It's a great series.
All right, so next is Monster Hunter Tri. So that was the Wii game that I played the crap out of.
And
that was kind of what got me into the
Wii gamer.
That's what got me into the Monster Hunter series. You guys mentioned Monster Hunter World when you're guessing, but I was kind of thinking that because I honestly have more hours when I was looking at my Steam. I have more hours in Tri or in World, but Tri for me was just like, all right, you get home, I'm gonna play Monster Hunter, fight some monsters, and just like do that. And I mostly played like single player. I didn't have internet at my mom's place until like
I
was like 14 or something like that. So it was just solo and just fighting the monsters. And I just thought it was so different than any game I experienced before because it's like very like the mechanics of it are more like in the Dark Souls, I always try to explain Monster Hunter as Dark Souls light because it is like, you don't have to worry about death doesn't matter as too much, and also it's like it's a bit more light and lighthearted. It's not as grimdark as Dark Souls, but it's kind of the same. Like, all right, dodge roll, weapons have different mechanics, stuff like that. So
yep, it's hard too. It's not like an easy game once you get into the late game stuff. From what I understand,
and also it really dives into the boss moves and anticipation. Yeah. It's not like you'll have that like before I'd played games like okay, like they telegraph their attacks very simply, whereas in Monster Hunter it's much more like, all right, you have to really develop and learn their attacks, and like eventually you get to a point where it's like, okay, I know these attacks, just like in Dark Souls, where you know the attacks in and out.
Yeah.
You know, and some monsters have really like, just like in Dark Souls, they have really like shitty attacks where it's like, oh, it'll fuck you over, and like low in anticipation, which is like basically they don't telegraph their attacks, or like certain attacks aren't telegraphed well.
Complex attack patterns.
Right. Yeah.
But it's fun, and there's like no health bars. Just all right, you go hunt.
Yeah, go get them. They're dead when they're dead. You know you've won when they're dead.
Exactly.
So
so it's a lot of fun. And I mean, Try was a kind of the intro, but World was such a such an improvement on the series, and obviously it's on PC too. So cheers to that.
Yeah, 3 was such a big game for a lot of Wii players, like who only had the Wii and they're looking for something hardcore. Try was always mentioned on the message boards to get from when I was a kid, because it was really good. And it's like, I don't know, the animations were really good for the Wii. People were just really impressed with the whole thing. Yeah,
and I bought a like the quote unquote pro controller specifically for that, because I tried using the Wii controller, like the Wiimotes, and it's like this is just not right.
It's probably not
so I got like a classic controller.
Motion controls are peak pro gamer input. Don't diss them.
No, Wii motion controls are not that good. Now maybe like something.
I hope you could hear the sarcasm dripping from my words.
All right, next is Skyrim. That is just such a exactly. Yeah, I have probably the most hours in any game ever in Skyrim. I've probably got 1,500 or so, maybe more hours in that, which is a lot.
Yeah, and you've modded the shit out of this game too. You've got all the mods.
That's what got me into like kind of the IT.
It's essentially not Skyrim at that point.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Exactly. It's what's so
amazing
about it.
You could probably play Fallout in Skyrim with enough mods.
There's definitely gun mods in there. But I don't know. Skyrim for me was, you just got into that, and it got me into like the more the back end and like modding things, and that was just a whole new world for me. And yeah, Skyrim is just amazing. Between Skyrim and Skyrim Special Edition, actually Special Edition is really nice. Everyone was like complaining about it. It's like, it's another $60, but I got it for free because I think I owned all the DLCs, and it basically just gave me it was like so much easier to work with, because you don't have to like add all these EMB and like effects mods that will bog down your system and aren't optimized. You can just go, all right, boom. It's actually much more, much prettier than OG Skyrim, but yeah, it's so good. Skyrim is just I feel like everyone has played Skyrim.
Yeah, it was
the main reason I got into PC gaming was because of Skyrim, because I had accidentally bought Skyrim for the PC and not like a console, and I'm like, wait, I actually can't play this. So instead of like, so I'm gonna spend $60. Well, I gotta build $1,000 gaming PC now. So well, fuck.
No.
Yeah,
what shall I do?
So that's what ended up happening about 6 months to a year later. Is I ended up building my own gaming PC, and played the shit out of that.
Nice. Do you think Skyrim VR would be good? I've been thinking about trying to play it through VR, but I'm a little scared to try and take that journey.
You have to buy another
I've seen
edition,
gameplay of it,
and I feel like, and I've heard that it's only really good if you mod it, because you have to get specific mods that actually allow you to like grab things and not just use button inputs. Like they
I feel like if you're playing mod or Skyrim VR, you have the capability to mod Skyrim.
Probably.
Would you not?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, Skyrim mod is so much cooler just because you can do so many things with it. Like, I was like, I want to, I love Frostfall, which was, if anyone's played Skyrim before, it's the mod that allows you to like add in more hardcore mechanics. Like, you have to eat and you have to, deal with environmental, like, you're wet now, you're going to get cold. And it's so much fun just trying to play
I need
a true survival playthrough.
Huh, that's really cool.
I need to change one of my things on my 3x3.
Oh,
keep going.
You realize something?
I just thought of it.
Yeah. All right, so after Skyrim, I'd say Destiny, another big one. I actually kind of, this one's kind of like back and forth because I really enjoy it. Like, I still play Destiny, Destiny 2 specifically. Only got into that recently in 2020, but it's just a lot of fun, especially like the raids and stuff like that. Doing that with people, and I really love the moments. I like this about Monster Hunter 2. Those moments where you just have like hang out with randos and you end up like kind of like making like impromptu friends just with randos. Like, you won't even be like, speaking in voice chat, right? But you'll be just like, all right, this guy's cool or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You just run into people, like just teabag the ground and be like, whatever. But yeah, I like those moments. It's hard to say because Destiny also is like, it's super grindy too. Like, it's not for everyone.
Right.
And you have to, it can be really fun, but it's like something that you have to put in like, an hour or two a day or an hour or two a week at least. And it's like, you got to just do that consistently over time. And it's really only worthwhile if you like do it over time, because like doing it all like every day, I don't know.
It would take so long.
I'm a casual Destiny player if is such a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll only play it for a couple hours a week, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And I was like this way with Skyrim too. Is I'm kind of a hoarder in games, even though I'm not really in real life. But I just like to like have everything. Like, oh, I want this. I'm never going to use this item. I'm never going to like. I never use my potions and anything like that. I just want one of every item. It's like, I don't know what it is about that, but yeah, it's just
there are several games on your list that you can do that with.
Yeah, Satisfactory
Skyrim, Fallout,
is also another
Satisfactory, Destiny,
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
And Minecraft too.
But yeah, you could.
That's true, Minecraft. Yeah, and so Satisfactory, kind of a wild card in this is it's actually a fairly recent game, but as we were talking about, kind of like Factorio, it's a logistics game, and I was like, I don't know, I'll try this out when I bought it. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Just like there's something so satisfying about it. I don't know what it is, but like I'm literally doing math playing this game.
Oh, really?
Like doing like, okay, I gotta ratio this out and everything like that. It is.
If my input here and here,
exactly right.
This my throughput can be over here.
Exactly. Or I have to like ratio out like, all right, I've got X amount of resources here in this area, and like how much can I pull in, and then convert into XYZ resource, and it's like I'm doing math, but it's actually really fun. And there's something
exactly what you're talking about.
There's something that just like I don't know, it scratches an itch for me.
Yeah, it's like the reason people like Satisfactory is like the same reason people love like Stonks and stuff, or is it a very different? What's the like?
I think it's more of like. I think it's just like an almost an OCD thing where it's like I have everything running at 100% efficiency. It's just, you feel satisfied. You feel
I mean,
fulfilled.
like I like games like that because it feels like I'm accomplishing something.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it makes you feel like
like
the most accomplished.
Because I really like. I mean, it's kind of why I do what I do for work, and I think I'm good at that is because like I like to optimize things and make them better.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is a game where you can do that.
Yeah.
And surprise, we're in the same field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fun like to do that.
It is, yeah. You're optimizing a process, and it's like it's about making an extremely efficient system, and that's what I really like. Like that's why I really like that's what I do for a job is optimizing systems. Yeah. So, yeah, I like that. And then basically besides Skyrim, my entire high school career was taken up by PlanetSide 2.
I have never heard of this game.
PlanetSide 2?
Yeah, not many people have.
It was like really big. Is it still big? I heard a lot of amazing things about it.
It's pretty dead right now.
Is it?
What is it? Like...
It kind of has the same draw as Destiny a little bit. Essentially, it's a massively multiplayer FPS. So essentially, think about you're a soldier on the battlefield, and that's what this is about. It's Battlefield, the game, like Battlefield,
Battlefield the game,
but on an extreme level where
really
you can have like 300, 400, 500. You can have as many players in a fight as your PC can sustain. Essentially,
how have I never heard of this? Then that sounds like a really cool idea.
It was. I don't know why it wasn't as successful. It was pretty demanding when it started out.
The only game I can think of is like Arma, like that.
Yeah, it's not that granular. Like it's a bit more arcadey, but it was so much fun. I just loved in the same vein of Destiny, where it's like, oh, you hang out with randos, you're just basically becoming like, you'll hop in a squad, and some of these squads are done by like, actual squad leaders, like military guys. Some of them are just, people who just want to do this for fun, right? And you'll just like hop in a squad, and squad up with a bunch of randos. Or I wasn't too in the quote unquote outfits, which are kind of like clans. But you just do like, different different operations with these guys, and mostly it's like, okay, we need to take this base, or we're trying to like push this objective, right? And so you just like set up, and there's just some crazy shit you can do, basically like we'd hop in all these like they're called galaxy transports, which are essentially just giant flying tank like whale. They are transports, and you'll just like just drop behind enemy lines, and you'll have like 100 people just drop from the sky and then set up like spawn beacons and everything like that.
Sounds kind of familiar. I mean, like I feel like I've seen gameplay of it.
You probably have.
Or you'll have these massive tank battles of like 100 tanks, and like those are ridiculous. For me, I was always I really like playing Light Assault, which is basically a guy with a jetpack and C4, and so I just like. A lot of times I just kamikaze Sunders, which are like mobile spawn points, and I just like go in and just take them out. And you can like get really good into the FPS side of things. Like, okay, you're good. Or you can go into more of the strategic side, which is a lot of fun. They've been still developing. I mean, it's still active, but it's not as active as it was, and I don't play it anymore. But it was a fun time when I had it, and also it was really grindy too. Like you had to spend a lot of time to actually, if you want to be, it was free to play, so it was like, all right, gotta advance. Normally,
yeah, I feel like PlanetSide 2 would be a game that us three playing together would have really liked. Like this is, this game. I think there was a point in time when I was like, I really want to get PlanetSide 2, but this is when I was playing PS3 games. And I couldn't. It wasn't on PS3 or something like that.
It was on PS4 eventually, but it took years for them to develop the PS4 version.
Yeah, I mean that game was legendary to a lot of people. Like a lot of people were super into it,
and it had a good community. I thought it was a lot of fun, and so I mean, there's definitely times. I mean, you could probably pop in, but it's probably pretty dead. The real thing about PlanetSide is you got to have a big play race, because it's just like when everyone's going, and there's like, the Zerg rushes can be pretty fun, where you have like literally like 300 400 players just pushing toward the objective.
Imagine that'd be awesome.
That is pretty cool.
It's a blast. And I mean, there's also class based too, kind of like Battlefield is, but I always like the.
Well, have you guys seen that like Civil War game where everyone just has like muskets?
I have not seen this game.
No.
What is it?
You've not? It's essentially PlanetSide 2, but everyone has like muskets.
Really?
And they're like going over and you have like little squadrons and the leader, and he goes, "Oh, march!" and like it's really cool.
Right, we may have to check it out.
Really silly, but it's one of those games where you need a lot of people to make it work.
Right. Okay. Huh.
All right. After this, Witcher 3. That is my favorite game of all time.
Really?
Really?
I didn't know this was your favorite.
I don't even have a ton of hours into it. Like I've got maybe 100 something hours into Witcher 3. But I think pound for pound, it's got the most value of any game, and it's just so good. Every single side quest is so good. The main story is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, especially the DLCs. Like Blood and Wine is amazing. Hearts of Stone is amazing. Everything about The Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red just fucking nailed it. Like I don't know if I could I'm just repeating what other people have said about Witcher 3 at this point, but it's amazing. So yeah, it's my only main problem with it is, and why I don't have a ton of hours, is it's not really moddable. There's some mods for it, and I have some installed, but like it's not as moddable as something like Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas, which is my next one. So that's the main reason I don't have a ton of hours in Witcher 3 is because I played through it once, I'm good.
Yeah, like you've played all of it and you can't really mod it anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is weird because that's the reason. Like I feel like that's a problem with story games. Like games that have really good stories is like you're not going to play a lot of it. You want to play the game, but you only play it once because like you're going to play the story once. I mean, there's definitely some games like Fallout New Vegas.
I feel like I have a lot of that.
Yeah, Fallout New Vegas is actually a great example of this where you actually can play through multiple times because the story changes so much, right? Witcher 3, it's kind of fairly linear. I mean, you can make certain decisions, but
You don't make
eventually
completely different changes.
It's the same thing.
Changes.
Fallout New Vegas, the ending is totally different depending on who you choose, right? And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
I think I've told you guys about
I
this.
still haven't finished New Vegas.
Really? I've finished it like
I
at
know,
least a
I
dozen
get, like,
times.
I get like 80 to 90% on a lot of games, and then just
You get so close.
Yeah. I actually have a relative who worked on the New Vegas, and he's worked on a couple other
that's
games
awesome.
too. Yeah,
I love the Fallout universe.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's both kind of personal in a way, as well as just the game itself is amazing. Modding it to all hell is great. Like especially, it's so different from Skyrim because now you're playing with guns. So I always like mod New Vegas to have actual real world firearms and not like the off-brand stuff they've got. But mod that, put in like new stuff, new companions. There's some excellent companion mods for New Vegas. And you just play that. I've played that a bunch. Going through all the DLCs too. It's an excellent game. Like honestly, the best story. Not the best story, but an excellent story, especially just from the point of you can choose. Your choices actually matter in this game, which is something that's so uncommon to most games, because most games, they're either linear, where you're just following like a cinematic storyline, right?
Yep.
Whereas I feel like with Fallout New Vegas, my actions actually do that. And also I like the morality aspect of it too. Like the karma system's awesome because you can just like piss people off. You can be an asshole, and you can or you can be good karma, and you can side with so many different factions. The faction system in that is great. I can if I want to side with the NCR, I can. Like I think my original playthrough was NCR, and then I did Legion, and then I did.
These are all different factions within the game.
When I did Freeside, and they're all like, at least from my perspective, I can see like they're all not 100% like good or bad, right? Like, frankly, like Caesar's Legion is a bit like, all right, take it too far. But there's also like some.
They kind of burned people alive, didn't they? So like,
they crucify and burn people alive. But at the same time, they're all like, okay, it's a meritocracy. It's not like it's not bureaucratic and like super political bullshit. It's like, all right. But I mean, they're probably the most evil out of all of them. Also, they were very orderly. I remember like saying like the traders always were good. Like traders had no qualms venturing through Legion land because of like the Legion just took out bandits and all that stuff, whereas the NCR was a bit more chaotic.
It's weird how like the story that's crafted in games like that, you know, like how the world building, for the amount you're describing, is proof that it's how good the world building is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember playing that game and like, wander around. And there's also like the level difference is kind of extreme sometimes.
Yeah.
So like you'll wander around and I'll be like out in the desert. I'm like, oh, what's that on the horizon there? And then all of a sudden this like flying giant bee comes up and stings me to death. And I'm like, oh,
the Cazadors, dude. Well, what probably happened is you ended up taking the fast route, and you ended up getting hit by Cazadors and getting
maybe
destroyed.
It's those things where like it's a deadly world in a way. So
yeah.
Like playing that on a hardcore would be insane.
Oh, it's I never played it on hardcore, but I played it on I installed a mod that made it same thing I did kind of with Skyrim, where damage is really easy to damage me, but at the same time I did a lot of damage in turn, so it improved. It made like the stealth play style that I usually play in most games, or like the glass cannon type play styles more viable. And a lot of fun, because it's like, okay, I got to set this up tactically, like perfectly, right? Or else I will be destroyed, because I take 3 hits from like a laser weapon or whatever, right? And I'm dead. So I have to make sure I, set up everything.
Line of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, like you're saying, I guess having Fallout, like the ability to just go in any direction is interesting. Because, even in some of the more... the games that people think of as having like, oh, you can choose anything. Actually being able to choose everything or anything you want to do it's not actually true. But with the way you're explaining
true
Fallout,
open world, like you could just wander around.
Yeah.
Completely ignore the plot if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can bypass it too, right? Like, you can just be like, I'm not going to talk to Benny or anything like that, right? Which is, he's kind of like the guy who who shot you in the head.
Just kill him.
Yeah, or you can just kill him,
Can
or
you kill
don't
all
talk to him.
NPCs in this
Or
game?
my favorite way.
No, you can't kill kids. It's so annoying.
But can you kill like
It's so
story?
annoying.
It's so
Yeah, you
annoying.
can
Get
kill
that out of
some-
here.
There's like an orphanage in Skyrim. I really wanted to kill those kids. It's so
Oh my god.
Okay, Sean.
All right, Skyrim's
But,
not on
yeah.
Sean's 3x3.
No, I like to do. Yeah, that's awesome. And just you can kill everyone. And also the one of the more interesting ones is actually a speech playthrough. It's kind of boring in a lot of ways but it's like, all right, just max speech, and you basically can just talk your way out of anything. It's actually kind of fun, especially the dialogue choices, because I love some of them. The next best one is actually probably the better one is you go really dumb, and extremely your intelligence is really low, and your intelligence is extremely low, like 1 intelligence. It's the funniest thing ever.
Okay, sick.
Well, that's cool. I mean, the there's so much in those games that it's pretty cool, and that's a pretty comprehensive 3x3. I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good gamer 3x3. I mean, there's a lot of like I don't know. I would call those hardcore games, like story-based games in there.
The pretty story RPG. I'd say there's 2 other ones I want to say honorable mentions for, which is RimWorld and Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
I was considering swapping out
Deus
Destiny with Deus Ex. I don't have a ton of hours in Deus Ex, but like Deus Ex is, and RimWorld's just its own. It's all about modding and stuff like that. It's more in the but Deus Ex, I just really respect I think it's got the best speech system in any game ever.
Really?
Really?
We have to actually like listen to the conversation and try to like say something, and you have to like convince them. It's extremely good. I don't know if have you guys.
That's cool.
Either of you guys ever played it?
I have not. No.
I've seen just a little bit of gameplay, but not much.
I'd recommend if it's on sale for like a couple bucks sometime, pick it up and then just do a playthrough of it. It's excellent.
Do you need to
it's
play
a little outdated because it's like 2007 or something like that when it came out, but the speech system is amazing. Just try to do like a speech run where you try to convince everyone, and it's like it's actually pretty engaging.
Do you isn't that like a trilogy too? Isn't there multiple games you can get to get the full story?
I think there's you got Mankind Divided, which is newer, and I think there's like other older ones from like the early 2000s. But,
Okay. Gotcha.
I never played any of those. I just played Human Revolution. I didn't even care about all their story bits. It was just I thought the gameplay on it was pretty good.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, very nice.
That's
Thank you for that 3x3 discussion. Okay.
Who's next?
Who's next?
Who's next?
on
All right,
3x3?
sharing my screen now, boys. Share.
Share.
My stream is running. Can you see?
Yes.
Can you both see? It'll now be between Sean and me.
You just did. Just flip a coin, man.
No, I'm doing this.
No, I like the spinning
I like
thing.
the spinning thing. You get cheers too. All right. Bets on. It'll be me.
Cheers.
I'm betting $100. It'll be me. I hope that lands on me. All right, great. I think it's me.
Hey.
Woo!
Also, what I was going to mention about Fallout New Vegas, Michael, is it's really cool if playing that game and then going to Vegas, because there's so many spots along the way that like, oh, that's what's that one roller coaster area? You pass Novak or something.
Yeah, Novak, which is actually I forget the name of the actual town. But you got Nickton, which
you
actually
can go
exists.
there, and it's and see it, and it's super cool to like
the dinosaur
experience the same thing. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
I keep clicking on the wrong button. Gosh darn it.
Okay, so I gotta share mine. I'm trying to think. How'd you do yours in a snip? You share your snip thing?
Yeah, I just use a snip.
That's kind of what I have going on here too.
Snip, snip.
Let's see if I can get this in a good
Snipping
spot.
tool.
Snipping tool. Pro
I'm
gamer.
still thinking about mine as
Really?
it comes
Sean,
down to my
you
turn.
can't change
there's
it. You can't change.
yeah, I can.
No,
I haven't shared it yet.
Just put it under honorable mentions. Like as I said, I put like 2 down as honorable mentions. So.
Oh, also, you guys got to guess. I would like to hear your guesses first.
All right. So here's the one I think
Persona.
Persona 5 is going to be on there.
It's Persona something that's
Okay.
going to be on there.
Persona 3 or Persona 5. Xenoblade Chronicles is going to be on there.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay.
I'm I know you've mentioned a game that you played a lot with your brother, and I'm trying to remember what that was.
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, that's a good one. Some of the Final Fantasy. I don't know if Colton's ever played Zelda.
I'm not saying.
I'm trying to think of the older games. I can't think of any older games like PS2 era stuff that.
I've definitely got some surprises for you guys.
I've
definitely got some surprises. My list.
Okay.
I'll prelude with my list is like really nostalgic, I guess. I have like all these games had like a big impact on my gaming person.
On what made you
the ultimate gamer.
The
ultimate gamer, right? And these all had a big part in like each of these had a really big like influence on my gaming-ness. So here we go. Without further ado, I'm just gonna try and share the Chrome tab.
Okay.
Can you guys see that? I think you should be able to see that.
It's still loading in for me.
It's not populating right now.
If you can't,
okay, there it goes.
If you can't, then I can.
We use the exact same
I
site.
can see it.
Golden.
What's that?
I don't recognize almost any of these games. I recognize two.
These are all pretty popular games.
3.
Oh, okay. Yep. So I called that one. Oh, I should have called Witcher 3. Duh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I feel like I've heard you mention Mass Effect before, but I don't recall it being huge. Smash Bros makes sense, though.
Yeah. So I'll start from left to right, from the very top left corner. It's Super Smash Brothers. I do consider the series to be kind of in it, but Brawl actually had the biggest impact. So I keep Brawl. Mm-hmm. That's the one I have the most hours in as well. The next game to the right is Persona 3. It doesn't have a title, but that is Persona, so you guys got that right. Persona 3 specifically, though. The next one is Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I played a lot of Kingdom Hearts when I was little. The next one's Metal Gear Solid 2. The Sons of Liberty, I think is that one.
That's the one that's really surprising to me, is Metal Gear Solid 2 specifically.
I've never played a Metal Gear.
We'll get into it. It was really good, though. The next one in the middle is Final Fantasy X. Next one is Mass Effect 3, but the Mass Effect series I'm kind of just putting the Mass Effect series there. Nier Automata is the next one. Xenoblade Chronicles, and then finally The Witcher.
This is fascinating to me because all the games you have here, the majority I have never seen gameplay footage for or know what their story is about.
Really?
Michael's, I feel like most of his games I knew, or at least have heard of.
Yeah.
Yours, I have no clue.
Mine. So one of the weird things is, I
know 3 of your games.
Yeah. So a lot of them are very RPG-ish, at least, and then I've got a handful of JRPGs in there. Do you guys want me to start? Do you want me to go chronological with this bad boy?
Sure. Yeah.
I can go chronological. So I think the first one. So yeah, my first game going into that kind of like started getting me into RPGs was Kingdom Hearts. Actually, I played that game when I was like 7 or 8 years old, off a complete whim because my cousin got it for me from like Christmas or something like that. The game was like $20 or something. And do you guys know a lot about Kingdom Hearts? It's pretty popular, I think, in the anime sphere.
Yeah, I know Mickey Mouse and Goofy.
Yeah,
and that's weird to me. But other than that, I know nothing.
It's Square Enix crossed with, I guess Final Fantasy specifically crossed with Disney. It's a really weird crossover. Worked really well for this first.
Square Enix, the anime studio?
Square Enix, I believe, they make Final Fantasy. They make they make Deus Ex as well too, I believe. Mm-hmm. They're like a Japanese game studio, from what I understand. They might be more than that, but yeah, they.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Made the game.
I'm gonna look something up, but yeah, keep going.
And basically this was like, okay, so when I was growing up, I couldn't play any M games. I was new. I was only playing Mario Bros, right? And then Kingdom Hearts was like one of the first games that actually had a storyline behind it, and it was something I could follow. And since I was young, I could follow it really well because it was like, Disney characters, and it was like really simple. But it was also it was the first story, the game I played, that there was legitimate like consequences or like loss associated with the main character.
Goofy dies.
And he didn't die. Goofy did not die. But I remember it was also pretty creepy. If you look up like screenshots of it and like look at the Heartless, those are the main enemies of the game. They're like all these dark, weird bug things. And it was a game where I was playing it, but since I was a kid, I was like legitimately scared. Have you guys ever had that where you're like fighting something and you're like, God, I'm scared. Like I don't want to die to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like it drew me in really well with that. But then it was also like it had a classic like tweeny Disney story associated with it where like people kind of died. They didn't really die, but like kind of died, and it was kind of your fault, and stuff happens, and you know, people are unfair. You know, the world's not fair or whatever. It was like a classic beginner anime storyline that I was getting through Kingdom Hearts, right? And
Yeah.
for me, it was like, I don't know, I just thought it was like the best thing ever. The combat was really good. The atmosphere was way darker than you would think for it being like a Disney game. I remember it was like you had to fight your best friend because he turned evil, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, your best friend turned evil and you have to fight him? That was like mind-blowing to me. That was like storyline peak at that point. I was just baffled by that kind of stuff in the game at
I've
that
met
point.
so many people who like Kingdom Hearts is so core to almost like their not just like their gaming experience, but just like their like very being almost. Like
and
I had a lot of friends, especially back in high school. Like a lot of them just like a lot of people I knew just, oh my gosh, like Kingdom Hearts, yeah.
I'm
kind of sad I missed out on that experience as a kid.
Yeah, it's like very much. It would hit way harder if you were a kid while playing the game because now you look at it and it's like the voice acting's bad, the animation's not great. Like the voice acting's really really bad.
As
in
a
this
kid,
game.
it's in 480p.
Yeah, it's like it was like perfect. It was so good, and I played. It was good for the first 3 games, which was Kingdom Hearts 1. There's Chain of Memories, which is between 1 and 2, and then there's Kingdom Hearts 2, and then you know. I fell off it around like age 15 because that's when they were like introducing time travel and shit. The story made no sense.
I ain't got time for that.
I just I pretend Kingdom Hearts 2 was like the end because it ended super well. So, yeah. From there, do you guys know what the next game I played was? It's my favorite game of all time. It's my favorite game.
Probably Final Fantasy.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt?
No, it is not Witcher 3. It is Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X. Was like, okay, so Final Fantasy X, very subjective pick. It's not the best game on here, I think, objectively, but in my heart, it wins the best. Final Fantasy X was like taking the story of like bad things can happen sometimes, but it works out, and then turning that into, because I played this when I was like 9, I played Kingdom Hearts when I was like 8. Final Fantasy X just turned into like bad things happen, and that's just how the game ends. That's just how like life works. Like bad, like. And it wasn't necessarily like everyone blew up and died, but big spoilers for Final Fantasy X if you haven't played it. I definitely recommend to go play it, but I'm gonna spoil it for you guys if that's cool. I'm assuming you won't play it. The game,
no, go for it.
Like, imagine me, POV, 9-year-old kid. I'm playing this cool game, and it's like really cool because it's like I'm going to different worlds, slashing monsters, beating the bad guys. You even like pick up a girl, and you like have this romance with the girl. And then at the end of the game, you realize, well, essentially at the end of the game, the main character dies and there's no way to get over it. And that, for me, was like, holy shit, like this is just unfair. I got a legit emotional reaction out of this. I was mortified. And the other thing that was like weird is like halfway through the game, you realize that you're basically on a suicide mission. Like everyone's going to die. And that was just like dark for me as a 9-year-old. Like, I was like, we're all just doing this to die. And the worst thing about it is, like, the main premise of the game is you fight this, like, being, this deity. And the deity gets killed by this group of travelers every 100 years, but just gets resurrected. So every 100 years, just a suicide squad goes out to kill this thing. And then it just comes back and does the same shit, terrorizes the town.
Jeez, yeah.
And then it's a cycle that keeps going. So... it was like really dark for me as a kid. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like depressing. But it also like was very, very difficult. So when I played this game, it felt like a really big accomplishment to actually get through the whole game. And I remember I didn't know how to play JRPGs or RPGs in general. So if you don't know Final Fantasy, this is when they were like, it was like you just select attack and they attack. And then the enemy attacks. It's not dynamic. It's not action RPG or anything. You just attack, do magic, and then you take turns attacking each other. But I didn't know how to play that strategically, so all I did was just grind my characters so far to when I just did the basic attack, it would just like max out the damage counter. This game was brutal because in one boss fight, you're fighting someone, and I remember it so vividly and getting so frustrated. You're on a ship, and the being comes at you every like 2 turns. He'll get like closer to you, but you can also, tell the ship captain to back off. And if the being gets up to you and crashes in, the game ends, and it takes 4 turns for it to actually crash into you. I didn't know how to back the ship up, so I got to the point where I just killed the boss in 4 hits, and it was like
Oh my God.
I had to grind unbelievably to get to that point. I grinded for like 20 hours probably to get to that point because there's special moves that unlock the maximum damage counter. So
This sounds like an anime, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I mastered the beginning attack and defeated the demon lord. That could easily be a like novel title.
That was like this game.
It's solo leveling.
Yeah, it was like wild, and there's other parts of that help me. Like you can level up abilities for one character, but take abilities from other characters. So there's one little girl that just has a staff and does magic. You can have her go to the buff guy, like go on the buff guy's skill tree and just get her attack up. So whenever she swings her little rod, it does like max damage, and it's amazing. But yeah, it taught me real loss. This game taught me, made me a man.
Taught me real.
Taught me that like it was just such a good moment when it's like, and the fact that it doesn't end like happy is was such an interesting concept to me. Such an unfair.
That's unique to a lot of things, I think.
Yeah. So it was like, it was just really unique, and I loved like the whole, like all the characters were really well written, and like that whole journey was really cool. So it was like definitely me growing up as a gamer, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's definitely up there. But the next game that I played from this list, I believe, is skipping several years because that was when I was 9, and I think it was Metal Gear Solid 2 was the next game I played. And
because you spent too many hours grinding Final Fantasy X.
Final Fantasy 9 or Final Fantasy 10. Yeah. Final Fantasy or Metal Gear Solid 2 was the first M game I ever played. So
Ooh, really?
Yeah, so this was the first game where I would shoot people and that blood would splatter out of their head.
How old were you when you played this first M game?
This first M game, I had to wait till I was like probably 16.
And who was that? Who was restricting this?
My mother and father were restricting me. And then eventually I just started asking for games.
What about you, Michael? What's the first time you played an M game?
Skyrim. I think that was 12 or whatever.
Oh God.
Wow, did Skyrim come out that long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man.
God. Wow. So yeah, 2011. I started playing it in 2012 because it took obviously a year for me to get everything sorted to play it.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay, sorry to interrupt. I was curious.
What was your first M game, Sean? Halo? Yeah. When you were like probably...
I started playing that,
Halo
I
is
believe.
M?
Halo is M. Yeah.
Wow.
For blood and violence.
I never
remember this
that.
specifically because one of the reasons I might have gotten an Xbox
You're
was...
killing aliens and blood's flying out everywhere.
I might have wanted to play Halo. It was blood and violence, but it was rated M. And I'm like, it's not blood and gore. There's no like language. and parents would...
Technically, Halo 1 has no gore because it just wasn't high enough resolution really to get gore.
Yeah.
But that, I think I started playing that at like 6 years old, I want to say.
6 years old?
Yeah.
What?
Really young.
You were shooting...
When did Halo come out? Because that's when I started playing
that's pretty young. Like, to me, that baffles me. It's like, my parents taught me that it would like, I'd like start shooting people if I played the M game at 14.
I was going to discuss this when I got to mine, but my parents were very unrestrictive.
Oh, really?
In amount that I could play and what I could play.
Oh.
So I kind of just, because of that, was able to play a ton of different things and just anything. So Halo 1 came out in 2001.
Jeez. Yeah, I would have been
like
5 years old. I cannot believe you were playing Halo at 5 or 6.
That makes sense then, because about a year or so after it came out, I was playing it.
I really can't believe you were doing that, but that's cool. That's lucky. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2. It was like, so like it being the first time game, it was like dark. Like the game. Okay, so the game was great because you could tranquilize people or you could kill them. right? So when I shot people
Okay,
and I blew their heads
the
off,
peaceful pacifist option.
yeah, I blew their heads off. I was like, I don't like that. I want to trank them. I feel bad killing these people, and like they have families, right? So I legit like tried to trank everyone. I didn't like kill anyone in this game, which made it very difficult and very hard to get through.
And they say M games corrupt.
Yeah. I was trying to save these people.
That's an achievement, though, right? I mean, you went through the entire game without killing anyone.
Well,
like,
I had to kill.
probably.
I had to kill some people. There were points in the game where I was running and I would run out of trank bullets, and then I get discovered by someone because it's a stealth game. Metal Gear Solid's a stealth game mostly, especially the second one. It's all tight corridors and such. And I'd be like, oh, gotta kill these like 3 people. I'm sorry, and then run away. But yeah, it was really high tension for me.
Hold the gun up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Literally, I was like, dang, I literally hate
crying.
this. I literally hate this. It was really, really high tension for me though, because of it being like dark and gory and like, oh, like when I got like shot and died and bled and saw that on the screen, I was like, oh, that's like kind of disturbing to me. Like it grasped that tension. It put that tension way up for me. And since it was a stealth game, it was like even further enhanced, I guess. So I just remember being in a lot of tension playing this game late at night. It was like a horror game to me. The storyline's really good. It was like really politically charged, and it wasn't super silly like some of the later games were. But it was really intricate, and the voice acting was really good. This was the first time where like a character was yelling "damn" and "hell" like 3 times in one sentence, and I was like, wow, this is like an M game. Wow, this is what they do.
This is intense. Mom, can I be listening to this?
Yeah, I was like, turn the TV down. Like, I can't have him here. Because I think my dad bought this M game on mistake. Because when I got to like 15, 16, I just started asking for random games, even if they were M, to see if I could get them to get it.
Is that how you developed your Christmas wish?
Yeah.
You asked for random thing.
So, yeah, they got this, and this was the first one. That's why it was the first one. But also, a very vivid moment in this game is during the end, you get disarmed essentially, and essentially the whole game was a lie. So the Colonel was like this AI, because in Metal Gear Solid games they like they ding you, and then you have the 2 heads that kind of talk to each other. Do you guys know that format?
I've never played the game, so
okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I just know from the memes.
Yeah. Essentially, you get pinged by your commander or whatever, and you have like online radio discussions with him like all the time, and it turns out, like, in the end, I forget it exactly, but it's all an AI telling you what to do. It was like the bad guys telling you to do something because they were behind the whole thing. Like, you're trying to stop them, but you're just aiding them in their mission.
You were an agent of their destruction.
Is it the same game where the meme, like, the clap of my ass cheeks is learning the guards? Is that the one it's from?
I don't think that's to this game. Maybe it's another Metal Gear game. But it breaks the 4th wall at that point, because it's like it's a really weird atmosphere at this point. You're like running around, guards like won't react to you. You'll like run in front of them and they'll just stay there. And you're like, what's going on? The Colonel starts freaking out because he's an AI. His like face turns into a skull and is like just gibbering stuff, and because you can see his face in the comms. And at one point in the game, he literally is just like, because you're playing as a character called Raiden. He's like, Raiden, we can't keep doing this. You got to turn off the PlayStation 2. Turn it off. Like don't turn off the PlayStation 2. Turn it off now. Don't go any further. Because this is when Raiden's like figuring out it's all an AI. So as you progress, the Colonel's just like, turn off the PS2. Do it. And
that's awesome. That's so cool.
It was really, really freaky because it was like 3 a.m. Bro, this scared me so much. His face was a skull. He's like, if you don't turn off the PS2, I'm gonna like find you. Like I'm gonna take you out. Whoa, I literally turn off PS2, go to bed. I'm like, I can't do this. I was like, I literally can't.
That's awesome. I never knew that was a thing in the game.
Yeah, the games like break the 4th wall so well. And as an aside, the first game, I think one of the bosses like messes with your controller. So like he disables the first port of the controller slot, and you have to unplug it and put it in player 2 slot to keep playing. That's like one of the mechanics in one of the games. But
I didn't even know a game would have that level of control over the console.
Yeah,
right.
Like just from a design standpoint.
Yeah, it was wild. But that game was like, that was such a memorable moment. I remember going to my friends like the next day in high school, being like, "Dude, he told me to turn off the game. I couldn't beat it. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to beating it, but I couldn't beat it." It was so well done. They did a couple other things like that in the game where they would break the fourth wall and have some really interesting stuff like that happen. But it was such a cool experience, man. Yeah. Good times.
They need to do that more.
Impressive.
Yeah, they should do that more. Yeah, but that moment like almost propelled it into my 3x3 just on its own because it was such a memorable moment. And then a good game itself all as well.
Yeah.
Okay. The next game was Xenoblade. I think I played with Xenoblade Chronicles, and this one is pretty much just a really solid JRPG. That was on the Wii, by the way. Solid, hardcore gamer console.
Wii gamers,
Wii gamers unite. It was like
all 5 of us. There are literally dozens of us.
Yep.
It was just a really good like storyline, and it was a long game. I played this when I was probably like 16, 17, and it was a game that I literally couldn't get enough of. I just played it all the time. It was really deep and whatever. It was just it like brought my love back to JRPGs, because at this point when I played Xenoblade, I played a lot of the previous Final Fantasies after Final Fantasy X, and they were all pretty shit, to be completely honest. And I was falling out of love with RPGs. So Xenoblade Chronicles kind of just brought that back, I guess. I don't have like too much to say actually about it. Full British voice actor cast though, which was interesting. So, yeah. And then Mass Effect 3 is probably the next one. Did you play Mass Effect, Mike, at all?
No.
I played Mass Effect.
Oh, did you, Sean?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I don't think I finished it, but I played Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2.
Mass Effect 2? Okay.
And I thought it was really cool how your save game continued on to the next game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
I think that was one of the first games that did that.
Yep. Mass Effect 3 is also...
And it was one of the games where it was so big that it needed 2 discs.
Oh, did it?
To
Back
play.
in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Like, it was a double-sided disc.
Yeah. Well, this is a funny one, too, because this is when I still wasn't allowed to play M-rated games when I played Mass Effect. I played 2 first, by the way, before I played 3, even though 3's in my 3x3. And I had my mom's credit card, so I could just tell her I bought a game and pay her for the game. But I was buying M-rated games. Sorry, Mom, I never told you this. If you're listening, I don't think she listens. I don't think she listens to the podcast. But yeah, I bought the game. I'm like playing it, and yeah, it was great. Again, this was like pretty close to Metal Gear Solid 2, and it was like dark and shit, and it was like, oh, I'm killing people. The level of choice in that game was really, really fun. How you could, and they had like the Paragon system where you could be good or bad, and choose how to be an asshole or to be like kind to everyone. Really, really enjoyed that about the game, and I thought the story was really good even up till the end. I really liked the resolution, how everyone could die. That was like pretty tense. I like games that make me like nervous, I think, because all the games I have so far that just made me stressed out at some point, whether it was like a story thing or some sort of game mechanic. But it was just a really good story, and I thought the world building was excellent in this game. It was,
yes,
and you could keep going. So. You could like read those data logs that you get. You get them like every whatever, like 30 minutes or whatever, and it's just such a good a game you could lose yourself into. Now,
who did you romance?
Oh, I romanced Liara all the way. I was always with.
I don't remember the names. There was the co-captain.
Miranda.
There was the alien chick.
I was the blue girl.
Blue girl. Okay.
Yeah. Who'd you romance, Sean?
I want to say I played the game twice, so I could go with both.
Oh, okay.
The Miranda and the blue girl.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, I know with Mass Effect 3, like my big story with Mass Effect 3 was I played 2 first, then I played 3. I got all the way to the end, and then I was about to finish the game. Now the game doesn't have very great endings. It's like a lot of people still have to sacrifice a lot to end it. A lot of people die no matter what. But I remember, and are you guys going to play this game at all before I spoil this huge point?
Don't worry about
this huge plot point.
Nah, I'm done.
So at the very end, there's the deity, the Reapers come in. They're about to destroy the planet. Every planet's or the universe is like fighting against these demons.
Well, the universe gets reset by the Reapers every so
that's
often, I think.
that's the case. They do this every year, and now you're in Shepard's shoes to try and stop that from happening this cycle. So you're actually with the Reaper, like the Reapers are like this autonomous being or whatever, and he's basically like, you have three choices. You can either like download your consciousness and control the Reapers and make them go away. You can destroy the Reapers and just make them blow up, or we can like, I don't know, there's this weird shit where they like magically infuse everyone with synthetics and combine machine and human and whatever.
Yeah, it's like far-reaching consequences to your decisions.
Yeah. But I remember I was like, the kid was there and he's like, okay, walk to whatever door you want to go through, and whatever door you go through is what's going to happen. So I remember I like was walking towards the door. I'm like, this is a pretty tough decision. I don't know what I'm going to do. I remember I noticed I still had a gun in my hand.
Lie, this is tough.
I still had a gun in my hand. I was like, I could shoot things. I'm like, I'm just shooting the doors. And I realized the kid's behind me. He's the being, the Reaper is like a child hologram, and that's how he interfaces with you. He talks with you. So I turn around and I'm like noticing I can like shoot pretty close to him. I'm like, I wonder if I could just shoot him. Will the game do anything? I shoot this kid, right? The kid says,
secret fourth ending.
It's literally a secret ending. The kid says, so be it. And then he just walks away and he destroys the entire universe. I'm not kidding. He literally ends the universe and like continues the cycle.
Wow. That's such a thing you would do though.
The amount of like the pit in my stomach after that moment
of like loss
of, like,
you felt.
Everyone died was
man.
awful.
That sucks.
I felt so terrible. I got so mad that I went back and replayed the Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 because I realized after I did that, no matter what ending I chose, the Shepard, the main character, was going to die anyways. And I was like, I wonder if there's a way I can still have him live. And the way I had to do that was to make a few choices in the previous games to make that okay. So I did that.
Which is why the save game carrying over affects. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Your choices are recorded through three different games.
And it's like,
that's why
it's really cool. Fun too, because it's like you romance someone in the first game, but then the people you can romance someone else in the second game, and then things get dicey. It's like they start fighting, and then there's drama, and it's a whole thing. But I played through the entire series again to get the perfect ending, which is like Shepard may live, he may die, whatever. But I literally got such a strong reaction that I put like another 80 hours into this franchise just to get the perfect ending. Just because
it's not a short game.
I
They're
effed
long
up so badly on the very end. I just could not believe myself. Didn't even have the strength.
That's hilarious.
Didn't even have the strength to like reboot it and to just play it again, like to
like that
pick one
last
of the
save.
Quick save.
Yeah, didn't even have the strength. Mass Effect was also,
but you had the strength to replay 3
yeah,
more
I was
games.
like, well, I'm gonna make it through to the end. And then one of the other cool things about the franchise is I think the ending was really, like, it was confirmed that the ending, well, okay, there was a ending that people thought was going to happen, like a theory out there, and like everyone's like, oh, it's like, so this is what the actual ending is, and they're going to make DLC to make sure this actual ending happens, because everyone didn't like the original endings of the game. So like I kind of got to live through those like theory stages, and that was kind of cool. Everyone's like looking at different ways and how this theory actually makes sense, which is kind of like a nice little aside to, you know, the games being, it was like another little thing that added to the experience, I guess. Then the developers were like, it's like, guys, we know what you're doing. It's not real. That's not our intent for the end of the game. And it made a lot of people mad, unfortunately. Okay.
That's what happens.
I'm trying to speed along here. I know I've been talking, but Persona 3. This is a very good game. And you guys know the Persona series.
I know literally nothing about this game.
It's literally like just a,
besides what you've mentioned, like it's by day you're a high school person, by night you fight monsters.
yeah, that's literally it. And it's every day. It's like a calendar based game. So by day you do your regular things. You go work a job. Maybe you go flirt on some girls. Maybe you go study. You know, you're actually a high school student. And then by night, you can like go fight some monsters. And
this is so JRPG.
I know. The goal of this game is to, you know, you got to make sure you pass your classes.
Exams.
Yeah, you got to pass your classes and also fight the demon monsters or whatever. So it's like it's a really cool concept that not a lot of other games do. It's actual calendar dates pass and you have a limited amount of time. Sometimes like monsters, it's like this monster's going to kill the world in 3 days. So make sure you do that. And if you don't go to the thing and kill the monsters in 3 days, the game just ends. It's like one of the endings. So it was kind of like, oh, you could get yourself in a puzzle where you can't actually get out of. If you don't like grind enough and level up enough, you'll just not be able to win. And that was kind of cool to me.
Interesting.
It was stressful.
Yeah, it's like it's almost more management than it is like gameplay.
It is really heavily like time management focused, which is it's a really cool concept. I definitely give you guys, or would tell you guys, to try out like Persona 5 if you have the time or want to put 100 hours into a game.
Yeah, I heard Royale's pretty good.
Yeah, Royale's
I heard that.
Royale's really good. I haven't beaten it all yet, but it is supposed to be good. I put Persona 3 on here specifically because it's a lot darker than Persona 5 in my opinion. Again, you can make a decision that ends the world pretty badly.
Pretty casual.
Yeah. And the ending,
don't they literally shoot themselves the gun
it's
pull out the persona? It's like
it's really weird to pull out the persona.
I guess like Death of the Ego kind of thing.
They're called invokers. So what they do, they're shaped like a gun, and they put it to their head and they shoot, and the invoker like just releases the persona. It's really edgy. It's just a really anime edgy thing. So yeah, but the ending was also really good. It was really ambiguous because the main character might die, he might not die. He like starts falling asleep really randomly in this one spot, but if you look at it from like an optimist point of view, it's like, oh, he's just really tired after this huge battle. But then actually it's like, oh, there's some signs to where he might actually be like dying after this big thing. And then the developers ruin it by releasing like a sequel thing where it basically confirms he dies, which I just pretend that doesn't exist.
That's not cool.
I like the ambiguity of it.
Yeah.
Headcanon, you know?
Yeah.
It's your own thing.
Okay, last game.
And you get to romance a bunch of people in that too.
It's so weird.
Mostly romance.
I felt, who'd I romance?
Yeah.
I romanced the Mitsuru in Persona 3, who's the smart girl. And then I romanced, she's the redhead.
Yeah.
And then I romanced, I romanced the smart girl in Persona 5 too. I romanced Makoto. That's her name. Yeah.
I don't know what these girls look like.
They're cool.
The limit of my knowledge was what I said earlier.
Yeah. I remember being like really confused at Persona 3 because it's like you can there's like sex is insinuated, and I was like, these guys are like 14. Like, this is really strange. So, but that's
also
that's anime. But the last game, Nier Automata, I was really debating on putting this one up here because there's a few honorable mentions that might beat it out. But for me, Nier Automata has like the best ending of any game I've ever played before. That's like really why it gets it. It like actually has a real world, like it affects you in the real world, not just like emotionally, but there's like literally tangible effects of like what happens in the game.
I'm familiar with the ending of it.
Are you really? It's like that sounds dramatic.
I was spoiled on, but I thought it was a really cool concept.
It wasn't.
I'm not gonna play it. So go ahead. But I've heard it discussed like you need to play it a couple times.
Yeah.
And all these weird things. But
basically, to like fully beat the game, to truly beat the game says you have to delete your save file. If you delete your save file, then because it's like this whole thing of like when you're at the end of the game, the developers just put you against an impossible boss. You can't beat it. Like you just can't beat it alone. So what they do? If you delete it, can you beat it then? You can beat it again, yeah. But they're just like your save file. To fully beat the game, you have to just delete it, and then you just lose your save file, and you can just replay the game if you want.
But is it the same game or is it different?
It is the same game. This is after you've gotten a few endings and you're getting to the true ending. So you have to beat the game like 3 times to get to the true ending, and then once you beat the game the 4th time, then you have to delete your save.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah. And
and then they'll delete your save. Is that the end? Like.
Yeah, it's kind of like
or do you play it again after that?
You can if you want, just like playing any other single player game. You can play it again, but
deleting your save, the true ending.
It's like the true ending. I forget.
That's so
it's
weird.
Like this thing where it's like they put you against an impossible boss. You can't beat it alone, so you get a bunch of other people to play the final boss with you. But they're other people.
Is it real people?
It's
or
other
like,
people. So it's like NPCs? Other people's data, quote unquote, and what it represents is like they deleted their save to help you. So since you beat the game, you have to delete your save, send your data off to someone else, and then they get helped. in this boss.
I really want to see or learn about the true gameplay mechanics that entails, you know?
The save
Or
thing?
Like whether or not that's actually what's happening. Like if no one deleted their save game, could you actually progress?
It's probably like they have like a bunch of dummy profiles in there too. If you if no one decided to delete their save.
Or like who was the first person to finish it, right?
Yeah.
And then,
they probably have a bunch of dummy files in there, but I know you can make your own little quote. You can say, hey, because like when you keep dying, you get like quotes start to pop up saying like, hey, don't give up. You've got us behind you. It's like this like anime thing,
like,
whatever.
Did you put any
like the first person to play
this
this game, right? Like the very first person to finish it, they in theory they would have nobody.
In theory they would
so
just
they
be
would
dead.
never be
They'd
able
never
to
be able to
that'd be
finish it.
crazy. That'd be a really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
Colt, knowing you, did you put any trolley quotes in there at all?
I couldn't. It was only a certain selectable thing. It was like you get you have to make a sentence and you have 3 building blocks to make the sentence, and each building block has like 10 choices or something. So I would have been like, you suck. Stop playing the game.
Did you guys ever hear that game called Journey?
Yeah, I played that game.
It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
And there was no voice chat, no nothing. It's just like you're trying to go towards this mountain in the distance, and you're in this desert.
Yeah.
And you would occasionally meet up with somebody else who's playing the game.
Yeah, super cool.
It's a really cool mechanic, and there's still people playing it. It's really weird.
Yeah, that was a cool game too. But
it's very short. It's like, an hour and a half long game, but it's apparently pretty impactful. I've seen the whole game played out.
Yeah. But that's basically my 3x3. Nier also has a very good storyline and very depressing-ish ending. I really, basically, in a nutshell. Oh, I didn't go over Super Smash Bros.
Sounds like you like depressing games.
Yeah, or Witcher.
Okay, Smash Bros. Real quick. I love Super Smash Bros. Played it when I was a kid. Played it in college. Played it all the time. I'm not super good, but I love the game. I put a lot of hours into it. Everyone loves Super Smash Bros., right? I have a lot of good memories with Super Smash Bros. And like friends specifically playing with me. That's why Super Smash Bros. Witcher 3, I also didn't know if I wanted to put on here because there's a couple other games that might have beat it out. But again, like you said, Mike, the dollar for dollar value of this game is like so unbeaten by like any other game. You can play this game for like so long and it's all so well done. It's just hard to... And then it's also like the storyline's really good and it's hard to not put it up here. I remember when you're to find Ciri, I thought that if you didn't find her in time, like a certain amount of days in game passed, that she'd actually die. And
I wish that was a mechanic because that'd like make every side quest and everything like that like actually like relevant, right?
Yeah.
Like, where it's like, oh, it's impactful.
Right. But when I got to her, like I fucked around a lot, even though I knew that was a mechanic. And then I was like, shit, I should probably find her because I think that she's gonna die. When you do find her, she's like dead. She looks limp. I thought I fucked up. I thought I was done. The other thing that was funny about that is August got to Ciri before me, and I told August my theory. August is a friend, by the way, for listeners. And he got to Ciri before I did and realized that what I said was wrong. But what he did after we talked about it, he just said, yeah, if you don't get to her, she dies. He just lied to me. So I literally thought she died and put 80 hours into a game, died. I was like, I'm gonna restart. And then it slowly shows that she's not actually dead, and I was very happy. It was a very good emotion. But yeah,
wow.
Which is just a quality game. It's like, how can you not like it? It's amazing. So,
dang, that's real good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any honorable mentions, Colton?
Yes, I did. So honorable mentions would be Uncharted 2 for the PlayStation 3 was almost on here. Very good PS3 game. Cinematic, Indiana Jones like. If you guys have probably heard of it if you're listening to this podcast, most likely. Really, I think it holds up really well today. Just a really solid action game. First PS3 game I think I had. So I was like, the graphics are amazing. I was coming from the Wii, and I played Uncharted 2, and I'm like, this is like unbelievably godlike. Like the graphics were so out of this world for me when I played that game. So it was just and I love the multiplayer. Probably one of the most hours I put into a competitive shooter. Uncharted 2.
Really?
Yeah. Not kidding. I love that. I love that game shooter. It was like parkour with guns. It was amazing. And then there's another game called The World Ends With You for the DS, which is like a JRPG again. That was about kids who died but have a chance to fight their way back to another life. So they die, then they fight, like they play this game with like these demons or whatever. And if they win, they get to go back to Earth and whatever. It was a really good story. So, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. If you know about The World Ends With You, you know. Like, if you know, you know. You know it's an amazing game.
You know.
All right.
I think I'm up next.
Oh, wait. Hold on, Sean. I need to stop screaming.
I'm holding.
Share my screen. Share my entire screen. All right. We're ready.
You can't spin again. I'm the only one on it.
Spin the wheel.
I'm spinning the wheel. We got to make sure it lands on Sean.
Okay.
Hey, it's Sean!
Blue circle.
Woohoo!
All
right, Sean, you're up.
So every game, this is going to be, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to guess most of these. There's a couple you'll probably be able to guess, but all the games I have are very different from every other game.
Okay.
And I think part of that is because, like what I told you before, is I had a lot of freedom as a kid. Mm-hmm. So I wish I had the foresight to write down every game I've ever played, because the list I think would be really long, and just like the different things. I just played everything, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least a little bit, and it was really and going back through this is cool because there's so many games I'm forgetting, but there's a lot of games that I, really liked or spent a lot of time in, or so. This has been cool to kind of just think about that.
Yeah. I gotcha. So I'm going to guess right off the bat Halo. We know Halo's on the thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely there.
EVE Online.
Yep, that's definitely one too. Factorio, I think, is a solid. There's a solid chance Factorio's on there.
Yeah.
What other games have Sean played?
Yeah.
Minecraft? Yeah, he has a server on Minecraft. He has to have that on his 3x3.
I don't know if it's on 3x3 though.
I think I gotta guess it.
All right, I'm trying to think of like Xbox ones, because like when I think Xbox,
this is interesting because we come from different platforms as kids.
Exactly so right. Yeah,
but like
it's hard to think of what I might have played.
It's like a Star Wars game. Sean, you're really into Star Wars. Do you like the Star Wars games?
It's up for interpretation.
I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know if I know anything else. I really want to, because I feel like I could get like 5 off Sean's list. I think we got 4.
Yeah.
I think we got 4.
This is funny because our anime list, I think we were way better at guessing each other's.
Oh,
because we all started watching a lot of anime together.
Yeah.
But gaming is something we've been doing our entire lives.
That's true.
So,
what other shit have you played? That'd be funny if one of us had a mobile game. We have not had any mobile games on here. Candy Crush.
I will say I do not play mobile games.
Yeah.
It's not something I do.
Maybe Pokemon, because you played it when you were a kid and it was like kind of your first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Pokemon. I'll guess it.
Lock in your guesses?
Yeah, I'm locked.
Yeah,
I think. I can't think anymore.
I'm trying to dig into my memory here.
All right. Well, I will say, because in my mind, I became a PC gamer very recently.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of my games are Xbox games because they're like my formative games in my mind. Not all of them, but pretty much all of them.
Here, go ahead and share your screen.
Let me show you here. I think a lot of these will be a surprise to you guys.
Oh, I bet.
You may have heard me talk about them, but like...
Yeah, they might like reignite some memories we've had, or we've talked to each other about it.
All right.
Oh, man. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, Battlefront 2.
I almost guessed that. Are you kidding
that's
me?
a good... Yeah.
Oh, man. You played The Sims?
I went back and forth with this a lot. I have a lot of honorable mentions, honestly.
RuneScape.
Dead Rising. You have talked about Dead Rising too. Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Rising over Eve, or sorry, RuneScape over Eve. Honestly, I really like Eve, but I wouldn't put it up as like my favorite game.
Okay.
Splinter Cell and Blinks. I've never heard of Blinks.
I've not heard of Blinks.
Blinks, no one will have heard of. That's an Xbox original game.
And then it didn't get a...
And I'm not even quite sure why I have it on my list.
It's just there.
Except it's there because okay, let me just read them off here and we'll go through them. So Blinks, the Time Sweeper, Xbox original. Fable, Xbox original. Star Wars Battlefront 2, The Sims, Halo, specifically Halo 3, RuneScape, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Minecraft, and Dead Rising are the 9 games.
And the
here.
Battlefront is the PS2 or the Xbox / PS2 version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blinks is weird. Okay, so I played a lot of games on the original Xbox, and I played a lot of Blinks for some reason. I've never beaten the game.
Really?
But it's one of those games I just always remember for some reason. I remember like snippets of playing this game all the time. Or like when I think about old games I used to play, this is like one of the top in my memories. It's not a stellar game. It's like not a crazy good plot or anything, but I just remember it so often. So I felt I had to include it here. But you're this cat and you get stranded in another universe, I think, and you have this vacuum and you have to then go suck up these various like shaped gems which allow you to do things.
Okay.
And it's like a platformer, 3D platformer. And then there's bosses you have to fight and stuff. It's a weird game. It's by no means good, but it's like
was this like
I feel like it should be on.
Was it like really when you were really young?
Yeah, this is probably sub 6.
Okay, so this is like, was this before Halo or maybe about the same time? Well, that's a PC game.
It would have been before.
Oh, okay.
No, I never played. I didn't play PC until I was probably like 12.
You said it was an Xbox. Sorry. For whatever reason, I thought I read PC.
All of these are Xbox games or games I started on the Xbox besides Minecraft and RuneScape.
Okay.
Jeez. Yeah. So
Blinks.
That was Blinks.
Wonder if it's well received.
Again, weird game. No one's heard of it, but I remember it for some reason.
Blinks.
Then there's Fable, right? And I really like the Fable series. And this is like one of those games where like you guys had in yours where the choices you make matter.
Yeah.
So you could be purely evil and you could be purely good or in between. And in every Fable, there's 3 Fable games and a 4th one in development, and like one side game. But all of them have this feature of your choices affect you in some way or another. And in Fable 1, that mainly entailed to be your appearance. So if you played a pure evil game, you would literally turn, at the end of the game, you would start to look like Satan.
Yeah.
You'd have horns growing out of your head.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Or like Hellboy, you know? And then you'd have like flies that are around you and everything, and people would just run away from you at the sight of you. And if you were good, you'd have a halo at the end of the game. And there's certain armor you can only get if you were good or bad. And I played this game twice through on both.
Okay.
So I had both save games from both appearances, maxed out everything. I really liked that game. I don't know. And I played Fable 2 and 3, and they were all good. Fable 3 less so, but Fable 1 and 2, great games.
Was the first one the best, do you think? Or is it hard to tell?
I would say 2 is probably the best mechanic-wise.
Okay.
Because they got the magic system down in Fable 2.
Okay.
Fable 1, though, has just a really unique feel to it.
Okay.
You know? It's very...
And is it like an isometric, or is it just a first-person kind of thing? Or
it's a third cam view.
Okay.
Similar to how Mass Effect is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. And then you'd have magic. You have magic. So it's a the concept is you're a hero, right? In this age, in this land, Albion, you're a hero, and heroes are just people that are imbued with this extra power, so you can actually channel magic and do all these things. And the world building is super cool. So like in Fable 2, it takes place, quite far in the future. So like the Industrial Revolution is upon you, and heroes don't really exist anymore. But hero blood exists in some people, and you are one of the last like heroes in Fable 2. Really cool, really fun game.
Yeah, interesting.
So that's Fable. Battlefront 2, I played a lot of Star Wars games from the PlayStation, the PlayStation 2, Xbox One, Xbox 360. I played a bunch of them, and I probably just played the most Star Wars Battlefront. And I love the space battles where you can go onto their ship and damage the ship.
That was super cool.
Oh man, it was such a good multiplayer game.
Battlefront 2 is,
Battlefront 2
it was
is
great.
a classic.
And also just the feel of it too. Like it wasn't like super competitive. Like you could be competitive with it, but like it was just more like kind of that arcadey, just like fun.
Yeah.
The only thing for me about Battlefront 2 I didn't like is like the hero sometime would get a little too. It's like, all right, I want soldiers versus soldiers. Yeah.
Which was primarily, I think.
Yeah, and that was the most fun. It's just like, all right.
There was the map you could do where everyone was all heroes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, there's some great maps on that.
That was great. Although, as far as Star Wars go, honorable mention's got to be Star Wars Clone Wars, which is an Xbox game that it's very hard for people to remember it, I think. But you were like a ship, and it was kind of like an RTS, but you were a playable character in that RTS, and you could go around and capture bases and assault the other person's base. That was really cool. And then Star Wars Republic Commando.
Yeah,
I love Star Wars Republic Commando.
Commando is a really popular one.
I bought that again actually, so I can play.
Really?
My current console.
After you started looking at this,
they need to redo that.
Well, they did. Well, I mean, they didn't redo it, but it's backwards compatible. So
yeah, but they need to do a remaster. I think.
I remember spending so long in that game, like trying to get through a level and being like, "No, guys, don't die!" Like my squad was dying around me. Next game is The Sims. And
this is a surprise to me.
Yeah,
I was like, "What? The Sims?"
Yeah? Have you guys never heard me talk about The Sims?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about The Sims.
I think I've played like every Sims game.
What are they on? Sims 4 now?
Yeah, I haven't played that one.
Okay.
I played up to Sims 3.
Okay.
So, I played the original Sims on Xbox, and then Sims 2 and 3 on Mac or on PC. And like I have it on my computer right now, Sims 3.
What's the goal of Sims?
But this is what made me stop playing Sims. Is the goal of Sims. So, have you ever heard of Sims, Colton?
Yeah. Yep. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just a person and you're living a life essentially.
So are you a
just like you grow up and you're what?
Like I thought you controlled multiple people in like a house.
Yes, you can have a family because you have a household, and then in that household you can then have as many people. I think up to 8 or something. But like, you can marry somebody. You can have kids and all that stuff. It's just like it's a life simulator.
Yeah.
Which is eventually why I stopped playing it, because at a certain point you're playing Sims. I think every person who plays The Sims realizes this, is that you're playing The Sims and you're doing something and you're like, why am I doing this? Like if you have a family and you have a teenager, let's say, and let's be honest, you're probably a teenager playing this game. You're telling your fake virtual teenage son to go and study his homework and do his homework
when you're not
in the game.
Or you're playing a video game.
While you're playing, and you're like
this is
why am I doing this? Like
that's a really funny perspective on it.
What is the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what we were playing Viscera the other day.
Yeah, it's like I need to clean myself. Like
yeah, clean up
It's a
place.
cleaning
We're
game.
actually just
Like,
playing
why
a
don't you just
cleaning
clean
game.
your own house? Like stuff like that. So that's why I stopped playing Sims. But it is fun to do occasionally, and building houses is really cool, and like arranging things and all that. So
yeah,
I don't know. I played it a lot as a kid. As more of an adult now, I don't, because I'd rather just live my life instead of playing a fake life. But it occupied a lot of my time as a kid, so it's on my 3x3. Halo. I think you guys both guessed it. I mean, I've been playing Halo since I was 6 years old.
Yep.
It's the probably I've been playing it the majority of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most formative game for me. I read the books, just played all the games. I love the story and world building. I don't know, and the memories I have from playing multiplayer Halo are just some of the best memories I have of gaming.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have friends who gamed with me,
right.
growing up.
Oh, okay.
I was really just played by myself, and my brother, he's 2 years younger than me, so we played Halo together, but a lot of games we didn't, because in my mind I was like, you're just a kid, and we didn't play together too much. But it's, I don't know. Halo just holds a really close place in my heart, From
That's why it's in the center of your 3x3.
Yeah, like I remember playing, because my dad played the Halo, right? He bought the Xbox and he bought Halo to play, and then I came along and I was like, well, I want to play this. This looks fun. You're having fun. I want to play what you're having fun with. And that's how I started playing at 6 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with my kid. To be honest, I'm gonna make him a gamer, or her a gamer. And then,
so my dad, we have a fairly large group of family friends. I had like 30 plus people, kids all in told, and all the dads all got Halo at the same time. So they would get together and have LAN parties.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was a true LAN party because you needed to bring your own Switch. And Xbox sold this. Xbox sold like an Xbox branded Switch with these long green cables that connected to everyone's console, and then you could play a multiplayer game together on the different consoles. And I remember doing that, and like I was the first kid, because I'm the oldest kid in the family group, family friend group, and I was the first kid in there playing with all the dads. And of course, I wrecked them because I'm just,
Yeah, you can spend all your time playing Halo and not.
I got good at Halo, so. It was just so much fun. And then eventually all the kids joined in, and it just became like this large event that would be so fun to do. So I love playing Halo, and it's some of the most unique and fun memories for me growing up. So that's why it's on there.
Nice.
And then and the story, I think, is just good. Not everybody can get behind it, but like some story is really good.
So wait, do you actually like Halo more for the multiplayer and memories then instead of the story? Or do you like, what do you actually like Halo the most for? Out of curiosity.
Well, that's a good question, because I buy a new game to figure out what the story is, but then I stick around with the game for the multiplayer.
Okay. Gotcha.
If that makes sense. So like, looking back, it's a mix of both nostalgia of memories, but going forward, like I'd get a new Halo game because I want to know what happens next in the story.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just like the multiplayer feel. So, although I haven't finished Infinity yet, but it's on my list of things to do.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then the next game is RuneScape. And I played RuneScape a lot as a kid. Like, this was like at the same time I had Xbox, I was, because I had a computer from an early age. And probably like 5 or 6, although it feels weird to say that. Like, I probably 6 or 7. I really need to like look back, but I feel like I've had a computer for all my memory. So it's been a long time. And I started playing RuneScape really early in that. And me and my brother both played that, and it's just something I, like in middle school, spent a lot of time doing, is playing RuneScape.
Nice.
So I don't play it anymore, but like it was a very good memories, I would say.
Yeah.
And and I was a member, so like I go all over the whole map, and I was like, that was one of the first big like, oh mom, dad, I really need can I have $5 a month to be a member in this game?
Put your allowance toward that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I probably had arguments about, or like asked to like, can I just have an allowance so I can buy this RuneScape thing, please? You know, I'm pretty sure that was part of it. I think I had to do the same thing for Eve, because I don't think I wasn't making money at the time. Actually, that was probably why I got a job at 16, so I could play Eve.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, is that subscription based, Eve?
It was in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
It was only subscription based.
I see.
The free to play was fairly recently, like when we were in college.
Yeah,
it changed.
that's a really new thing, I think, or I guess.
Yeah,
it's a new thing for MMOs.
Which is why it was very much a gatekeeping game. Like when I joined EVE Online, I was really young, and I wouldn't tell people how old I was, because you know most people playing it are older and have the money to actually pay for the game.
That's true.
So it was weird.
Yeah, had like salary jobs and
they're
doing this in their spare time. Jeez, yeah. Splinter Cell, that's a surprise.
That is a surprise.
You've never talked about this at all.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you have.
I really like Splinter Cell. I've played every Splinter Cell game.
Really?
I played the original. This is the picture I have here is from Splinter Cell, the first one on the Xbox original. But I played the ones in the 360 as well as, I think they stopped in after the 360, but there was like 4 or 5 games of Splinter Cell, and I love this type of gameplay. You know, it's very similar to Metal Gear Solid. I don't know which came out first. I know Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell is based on a book series.
Okay, gotcha.
And I really like the stealth assassin type game. So Splinter Cell was pretty obvious for me. It was a game my dad played, and then I started just going through them, and it's super cool. And in some of the later games, they have a co-op mode. So you can actually have 2 spies going through a mission, and me and my brother played some of that.
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. It's super fun. I love the mechanics, and I love the stealth aspect. So that was really cool. I definitely have a lot of time invested in Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Next is Minecraft. I think I was an alpha member of Minecraft. So I think I got it version whatever, bought the game, and I was just, I've played it not ever since, but like for 10 plus years. I would think.
Yeah. Kind of the same on and off.
Yeah. And that's the only game I've modded is Minecraft.
Oh.
Because contrary to Michael's gameplay style, I don't like mods at all. I don't really like changing the game from how the creators made it.
Intended. Yeah.
But Minecraft is the only exception, I think, because at the time that I started modding it, it's a very simple game. There's not much in it. I don't think when I started modding it, there was the end, so there was there's no technical final goal of the game. And I put in like, what's the engineering mod?
Like build craft or something like that.
Industrial craft and stuff like that. And I had a server with all the kids in my family friend group. I started a server, and we all played that, and super fun memories from that, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a game you can always spend time on. Michael covered it pretty well.
Yeah, it's one of those games you just like, I'm going to come back to, play it for a couple weeks or whatever, and then, all right, done. And
yeah. It's really cool. I was never great at it, like in the sense that I'm not a good builder. I'm not very creative. So my houses tend to be just like holes in a mountain or an underground base somewhere. But I did play Minecraft on hardcore mode. So if you die, you delete your save.
Oh, man. That's a great way.
And I've had some really freaky moments from that. Like at one point I was walking around on hardcore, and it was industrial craft, and I built this cool little place, like probably like 60 hours, 60 to 100 hours. and then I walked off the edge of a ravine.
Oh man!
And I started falling, and like, I had like a panic attack, like, oh. And then I hit the ground, like your life flashed before your eyes, like this was my life flash before my eyes, and I hit the ground, and I had half a heart.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, oh my god, like, and I panicked because like, on bottom of the ravine, there's probably something gonna kill me, so I was trying to like quickly get to food or something, but. Oh, man, it was crazy. Like stuff like that is what I think is fun for me. And the last game I have is Dead Rising, which is a zombie game, and probably the first like real zombie game I played. And it's also a cool one because it's one of the first games that had a lot of zombies on screen.
Yeah,
like Left 4 Dead had a bunch of fast zombies and they're all there. But the danger in that game was the zombies were fast and they were, powerful. In Dead Rising, they were true zombies in my mind. They're slow, dumb. They not very strong, but there was a lot of them, like hundreds and hundreds on screen at once.
Yeah.
So if you weren't smart about it, you just get overwhelmed by the fact that there's so many.
Yeah.
It's also a very tongue-in-cheek game, and it's also a game where your decisions matter on a time scale. So there's you're stuck in a mall, right? So you're a reporter and they closed off this town. The government closes off a town. So you're flown in illegally and dropped into this mall, and you figure out that there's the zombie invasion going on, and the whole game takes place over 7 days, I believe. And if you don't rescue certain people within that time, like there's survivors stranded throughout the mall, then they just die, and you can't get them back without doing the game over again. So it's like a constant battle and race to get as many people as you can, because certain people give you different, like, extra knowledge that happens in the game, or about the pandemic or about the infection in the first place. So super cool. And the game also doesn't tell you anything. Like, you have to figure it all out. So I remember playing this game, and like day 5 comes around, which is probably like 20 hours into the game. Like, you're like, I know how this game is. I've established all the mechanics. And then you're like walking through the main area, which you normally pass through to get where you're going, right? Like, I've been to the entertainment section of the mall before. I know what's going on here. And then all of a sudden, there's this dude in a raincoat, standing like a bright yellow raincoat and like green gloves and a mask, standing there, and you're like, huh? Like, what's going on here? And then you like look around more, and there's more of them throughout this place, and you're like,
what's going on?
Okay, what? Like, it was really freaky at the time. Like, what is going on? And then I'm like getting like kind of close to it, and the guy turns to you, takes out a knife, and like runs at you, and I'm like, what's
Dear God.
on here? And it has really cool mechanics in that game, I think. There's some crafting mechanics. The cool thing about that game was anything can be used as a weapon or moved or picked up. You go to a toy store, you can grab a teddy bear and you can start chucking them at zombies. Like anything.
Anything. In that game. You can do whatever you want. Nice.
That's really cool.
And there's like a food thing, and like it's very fun game.
And do you like combine different things together to like make weapons?
You couldn't. That was in Dead Rising 2.
Okay.
They introduced that mechanic. But Dead Rising 1, you just took what was there. So like, you're like, oh, and there's weapon durability. So you're like, oh man, my weapon broke. I need to go back to the gun store to go get a gun or a katana, or something like that.
My
you have to journey over to that part of the mall, to go get that thing.
My teddy bear's out of ammo.
Yeah.
Its durability is low.
And that's kind of my 3x3, I
nice.
think. Most Xbox games, as you can tell, is an Xbox game.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have written down all my honorable mentions, but one of my honorable mentions was... Ooh, where'd that go? Oh, shoot. What's that? I have all these things as layers. There we go. It is Portal.
Okay.
Portal is an honorable mention. That game is so creative and so like good.
Yeah.
That's definitely up there.
Portal 2 or Portal 1? Wait.
Portal is the game series.
Okay.
Overlord is an honorable mention. That was really just fun. I didn't play it too much, but I really liked it.
Is it like an RTS kind of thing?
Like half RTS, half third person. So you're a dude, and you control over these minions, and you can send them around to do things. It's like a kind of a puzzle game in a way. It's a goofy game. And then I don't have a picture, but the other honorable mention would be BioShock Infinite.
Okay. That's a good one.
Which have you guys played a BioShock game or BioShock Infinite?
I beat BioShock Infinite, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that really made me like think and really care. Cause like one of the main characters, Elizabeth, like the girl that you're originally tasked with finding in the game.
Yeah.
There's a point where she's like was taken and being like tortured essentially.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And at the time I was like
get this girl back.
Getting really worked up. I'm like, oh my God, I have to save this. I was like trying to get through the level as fast as, even though it wouldn't make a difference, you know, or
you're like, I need to.
Like, it's just there's no, in my head, I'm like, I need to get there now. Like, I cannot let this, you know, it's one of those things where I was freaking out trying to get through this level as fast as possible.
It's cool that a game can make you feel that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, the twist for BioShock Infinite is pretty cool too.
Yeah, I forget exactly the.
I mean, it's crazy. I really want to replay that game just to.
It's time travel.
Yeah, it's like
multiverse kind of thing.
Multiverse.
Yeah. I remember it being like, whoa, this is like really well done kind of thing. When I played it.
Yeah.
But I think I rented that game and I beat it. Everyone's like, yeah, because it was only like a 15 to 20 hour game.
It's a semi-short game, but it's linear.
Yeah.
But it's very thought-provoking.
Yeah.
You know,
story was really well done.
Yeah, and also the gameplay on it is just fun.
Yeah,
very solid. I like games that have powers like that, like magic or power system. Or
and you can use them like a Dishonored or something like that. Honestly,
Dishonored is also an honorable mention.
Yeah,
I gotta say, there's this one level in Dishonored 2 that's a time travel level. Have you played that or know what?
I haven't played Dishonored, but I know it's good. I have.
Titanfall 2's got a similar one.
Dishonored's like it's a stealth game, and you have these powers, and it's very similar to like Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid, but you have like some magic things, like you can teleport, get inside someone's head, things like that. And in the second game, there's a level where you break into this abandoned mansion, essentially, but you have this device that you got from the scientist guy, and it's also a very steampunky world.
Yeah.
And you get this device, and you use it for the first time, and you're sent into the past.
Yeah.
So
when the mansion's all like
right? Nice and everyone's there, so you're like trying to avoid somebody attacking you. You click the button, and all of a sudden you're in the past, and you're like,
"Whoa!"
And then it's almost like a totally different game at that point, because you then are having to avoid these people who are there, you know, or like there's actual guards patrolling, and you know, things change over time. So like one point, and it's also a puzzle in that sense where there's a vault, right, that's left locked, but in the past you go back and unlock it, and in the future it's
still
unlocked.
I
so you can
see.
then just get through.
Nice.
Or things like that. And there was this one point where like, and you could really quickly switch between the two. It was also one of the things where it was very seamless like that. Like it's almost like the game was simulating the two worlds at the exact same time. Yeah. So you could, in one hand, jump to the past, walk down the hall, and then jump to the future. And then the guy that was trying to find you before in the future would still be looking at the other end of the hallway. So it was like simultaneously passing at the same time, but you were just jumping between the two.
Did like people freak out when you just phased in and out of reality, or like?
No more than they would when you normally did that, or like teleported away. You know.
I see.
So it was was a fascinating game element and mechanic. And at the end of the level, this is one of the things where choices affect your decision. So at the end of that level, I killed somebody who was in the past, like an influential guy.
Yeah.
and then I jump back to the future, and it's completely changed.
The whole future's wow.
Like,
Oh, that's
like all
nuts.
of a sudden, the mansion is not abandoned anymore. It's like a regular, like someone else lives in it now.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh shoot, what
Yeah,
did
what did I
I just do? You know, this is not good.
That's really cool.
That is really neat.
Titanfall 2 had a similar mechanic where you do that. I wish it was more like that. The one you described though, where it's like, okay, the actual like, it's not just like, you know, in that game it was more of like, okay, it's a cyclical where it's like the what you do has already happened there and like is basically predestined to happen kind of thing, right? Like you affect the past, which has affected the future, which has affected the past kind of thing, you know. But yeah, that's really cool. I wish that would be awesome if you had that. I'll have to get that. I loved the first Dishonored game, so I'll have to get Dishonored 2.
It's a
I
really
need to
good
play
game.
the
And the
both of
second
them.
one allows you to play it twice because it's two different characters. You can pick the game to start with. So
And
different
Corvo
choices
is
of
just too
things.
much fun to just mess around with. Like, I
Corvo's
don't know if
great.
you ever watched like I forget the guy's name, Stealth Gamer BR on YouTube.
I think so. The guy who does trick shots.
He just does insane stuff with them. Like he'll like shoot up in the air and like do some crazy stuff, and then the arrow comes down and like takes up the last guard, and you're like, excuse me, what? Like how many
I'm
tries?
trying to replay Dishonored 2 as Corvo right now because I played it as the other girl, Emily, at first.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to redo it as Corvo now. But it's a hard game to get back into because it's intense. It's a non-forgiving game.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You get hit twice and you're dead.
Huh.
Like it's quick.
It's like a true stealth game.
yeah.
Which is what's fun about it because like you do a lot of damage too. Like you can
Yeah, you
usually
can take
one
people
shot
out.
people.
Yeah. Just gotta be
Yeah.
careful. Can't be overpowered.
Or if you like
With
get,
two people on you, it's
also
almost
what I like
impossible.
too is they parry really well. Like the guards, if you get into actual combat, they'll parry really quickly and like they have like
it's combat's
really good
hard
reflexes.
in
Yeah,
that game.
That's cool. That's cool.
which rewards the stealth play style.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way you do
Which
a
I
stealth
like doing
game.
because of Splinter Cell. I mean, I love playing stealth games. So
Nice.
But yeah.
Well,
No,
gamers.
I think that wraps up my theme
yeah.
for sure.
Any more
Yeah.
any more thoughts on gaming before we wrap this episode up? I know it's a long one, so
I don't know. This has been a long
I know.
episode.
I know.
Yes. Yeah.
It's been quite
Thanks for sticking with us, gamers.
Yes, thanks gamers. We will
It's been fun learning about these different things. Like, cause like again, like we guessed a couple, but we
didn't-
did not know any of those.
Yeah, the vast majority.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gaming is like
It's funny,
oh
Colton. What surprised me is that you have so many JRPGs on yours. Like,
one thing I want to point out, you guys watch more anime than me, but I have like the most anime-ish games. I don't think either of you had
it's
a
like a
single
total
anime
flip.
game on your thing, and I have the most.
Nope.
Which is funny. You guys
Yeah.
should play more anime games. It's just like
Nah,
anime, but like better.
I don't
I
find
don't
it
know.
appealing.
it's a different JRPGs are a different experience. I don't know.
They really are.
I'd like to try a Persona game. I'm not always a huge fan of that turn-based combat they have, but
Yeah,
I'll have to try it
They
out.
do it the best, so it's your best shot at maybe doing or getting through a turn-based or turn-based combat system like that. But yeah, I know. I definitely like get why that's not super popular. So, but yeah, that was fun. Love talking about games. Gamers. We love you, gamers. But yeah, let's wrap this episode up here. This was
Yeah, it's been a long episode.
yeah. Hopefully you guys have some good gaming suggestions to take away from this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully we gave you.
hopefully give you great gaming suggestions. This has been almost a podcast, everyone. One day we'll get there. Please like, follow, subscribe. Game with us. Maybe we'll have a Discord one day if you guys subscribe. Then you can game with us. It'd be great.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I'd love a Discord, honestly.
Set up a clan.
So yep, that's it. One day we'll get there. Yeah, you guys know the slogan. See ya. Have fun. Peace. Game